It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, here we go. Welcome aboard, Rothman and Ice. Happy to have you with us. Hopefully for the next 3 hours, we jump in the raft and lazy river this thing. We'll find out where the rapids take us. I'm Anthony Rothman. The man to my right is Matty Ice Hayes. The man behind the glass is the loose cannon. Good to see you, fellas.
It's great to see you, man. It's a hump day. The sun is shining. Still a lot of buzz going on coming out of the NFL draft, but the sports world is popping as it always is. So life is good for me. How you feeling over there today?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, feeling good.
Okay.
It's a Wednesday. We got Schefter on today, bottom of the hour. Can't wait to ask him about the interview process for Shedeur, what he heard, what he may have experienced himself or observed, whatever. I saw that famous super agent Lee Steinberg came out and said the collusion theory is absolute nonsense. We've heard Boomer Esiason and others say that, yes, he flunked the interview process, did not treat him seriously, acted entitled or headphones on, taking calls. Who knows? We'll get Schefter's feeling on that at 12:30. I also saw a stat, and we don't have to go very long on this one, but this surprised me that the Pacers trailed by 7 points with less than 40 seconds left in a game and won. NBA playoff teams in the last 20 years were previously 1,176 when down by 7 or more with 40 seconds left. 40 seconds in an NBA game is like 4 minutes at times. I almost wasn't buying that stat. The bad beat of the night was, forget about the hockey that I lost, which I knew I would. I actually put the Pacers in a parlay. Instead of the money line, I got greedy and said, let's lay 1.5 points.
Oh, no.
Let's just lay a bucket. How about that?
That's
but do you
tough.
believe that stat? That they're the only playoff team in the last 20 years to trail by 7 or more
insane.
with 40 seconds? You would think with a three-point line, fouls, free throws missed.
Well, prior to the Halliburton layup that iced the game, you had Gary Trent Jr. You know his pops, Gary Trent, Columbus native.
Do I know him?
Have one.
I went shopping with him for the draft.
Okay, go
You know that story?
5-hole real quick, because I want to hear the story. Go 5-hole threw his hands and his legs into the stands that created the opportunity for the Pacers to have that comeback that you just talked about. So unfortunate stuff there. Last night was wild over there in Indy. We'll get into that whole situation later in the show with Halliburton's dad and Giannis just going forehead to forehead, which was insane. But yeah, Gary Trent Jr., product of Gary Trent, the Columbus native, folding up like a napkin at the worst time because he's been pretty good for them in this series. But yeah, that pass that he dropped that was literally right in his hands that ended up going between his legs out of bounds is something that's going to haunt him for a while.
1995, Gary Trent, Columbus, Ohio, Hamilton Township.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get drafted in the 95 draft. And I don't know whether I convinced him or whether he invited me. I can't remember that far back. But we went shopping for his draft suit.
Okay.
And we went to a little place in Columbus called the Men's Shop. And I think the owner was a guy named Dart Brown. Great name. And obviously I haven't kept up with these people over the years, over 30 years. But we go into this great little men's shop, and he believes he's going to get picked by the Celtics. And he buys a lime green suit.
That's amazing.
With green gaiters to go with it. And it was one of my favorite actually stories that I've done. And he wound up getting drafted actually by Portland in 95. So that's amazing. So the fact you're bringing up his son, Gary Trent Jr., who played for who, Matty?
Milwaukee.
But I mean in college?
Gary Trent Jr.
Where did he go? Was it Duke? Yeah, all right.
He was a Dookie?
And
he was so good last night, too. That's the sad part. Before that.
Yeah. And he got picked and then traded to his dad's team, the team that his dad was drafted by, Portland, I think on draft night. think you'd have to go back. It was just a very weird, just came full circle that he got drafted by a team and then traded to Portland. His dad figured he'd go to Boston and got picked by Portland.
Okay.
So anyway.
Before that unfortunate fumble from Gary Trent Jr. last night, his stat line was popping. I mean, he had 33 points in the game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 17 from 3. But the only thing that everybody's going to remember is him dropping that easy pass that would have iced the game. So suck because he was out there balling last night.
We will talk about the Giannis Halliburton.
We got to do something about.
We'll do that.
We got to do something about NBA dads because it's getting out of control.
Dad's gone wild.
It's getting out of control. We got to get these dads chilling out.
Yeah, let's not do it now.
Yeah,
we'll save that. Yesterday during a break, I looked at Maddie. Didn't do this on the air. I looked at Maddie and I said, "All right, I'm setting the over/under on Belichick and his girlfriend to January 1st, 2026. And so I said to you, all right, are you taking the over or the under? What did you say?
I'm taking the under all day and tomorrow at this point. She's becoming AR too much of a distraction.
Well, she's the COO of Belichick Productions or whatever it is.
The face of North Carolina football. It's kind of what we're getting right now. And I think when Bill locks in and really starts cranking out football stuff, he's not going to want this around. And if this continues, which it doesn't seem like it's going to slow down at all, I think Bill's going to cut ties. So I'm going under. I'm not getting the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift vibes from them right now. High energy.
Go the distance.
Love is in the air because, I'm on that.
So what you're saying is go the distance, ease his pain.
Yeah.
We need the ease his pain.
You going over on that?
Well, the reason I bring it up is today, ironically enough, some odds dropped.
Uh-oh.
I don't know whether somebody heard me or what, but the odds dropped on what will happen in 2025. Will they break up? And actually, no is the favorite.
Yeah.
No is the favorite.
Okay.
You can get 2-1 right now on if you want to take that under.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, what will happen first? Belichick and Hudson get engaged, or that he's no longer the coach at North Carolina?
I am going to
favorite?
go with...
What's the favorite?
Wow. I'm going to contradict myself.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the engagement.
That is the favorite.
Yeah.
That is the favorite.
I figured it would be. Okay.
What will happen first? She gets hired by UNC or they get married.
There's no way they're hiring her. Right? After all this? They're not putting her in a position with a title.
She gets hired or they get married. What's the favorite?
They get married.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. We need to get CB's Bell back in here. Okay, so you've got them all. I've got some other really good ones.
You can bet on anything. You can bet on anything.
Right on time.
Yeah, there you go, TLC.
What will Belichick do next? It's like a Phil Mickelson thing. What will Bill Belichick do next as far as him turning back the clock? Mm-hmm. This one isn't on there, but I'll add it. Break up with her and date a different 25-year-old. No, that's not on the board. I'm going to give you these choices. You tell me what the favorite is.
Okay.
He gets a nose piercing. He gets an ear pierced. He grows his hair longer and goes mullet. He actually dyes his hair, but not brown, blonde. He gets a tattoo, or he goes man bun.
Tattoo for me would be
1,000% tattoo.
Okay, tattoo's the favorite. Yeah. I try to throw you off a little bit.
Tattoo all day.
You got that right. That is the favorite.
A little B and J inside of a heart.
Excuse me?
B and J inside of a heart.
What? All right. Anyway, maybe I'll filter a few more of those throughout the show.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
Yes. Constant. Oh, my goodness. This is unbelievable. Supposedly that when I read that email yesterday, she also put out a response to The reason I said we're not talking about how we met is because you already knew how we met.
No, we don't.
Yeah, do you remember? So
the plane story?
The plane where he signed her book and said, thanks for teaching me about some sort of class.
You buying
But then he signed it with all of the Super Bowls that he won.
That, to me, doesn't feel like a Bill Belichick thing to do.
Maybe he was trying to,
impress her?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that story that's how they met.
Mm-hmm. Because it is a fairly cute story. If it is, there'd be no reason for her to squash that. Unless she was just saying, it's all about the book. Let's keep it on the book. Sell the book.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we're going to come back and
no days off.
We're back onto Ohio State. So you heard Ryan Day's presser yesterday, and he did go into the portal and get a pretty good dude, and we'll talk about the impact. And then the other reality to it is, if he was that great, why did North Carolina let him out of the building? We'll get to some of those details next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin. Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you. Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is proud to be the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence Award for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin or online at crowncarsdublin.com. Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
Hey guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. The treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. And you'll get the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 11th, that one very special day when you can show Mom how much you appreciate everything she's done for you. What says love and appreciation more than a beautiful flowering gift from Oakland Nursery? Hanging baskets exploding with spring color, hand-potted roses in thousands of varieties, and lovely annuals for a beautiful garden. Show your love and appreciation for Mom with a trip to Oakland Nursery. For 85 years, moms throughout Central Ohio have looked forward to Mother's Day gifts from Oakland Nursery.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom! That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
May I have your attention for some important programming news? Sorry. T-Bone and Tyvis are hosting mornings, weekdays at 6, starting May 12th. That means Common Man and Timmy will share bro love at 3. The Fan.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Have you ever told a friend
Oh, I'm fine.
when you really felt
Just so overwhelmed.
or sent a text
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
when you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A mostly quiet Wednesday after a stormy Tuesday as we head through the day. Temperatures make their way to the 70s this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. We could see a stray shower push through, but that would be about it. Unfortunately, though, more strong storms return as we head into Thursday. That's going to prompt another 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Day, so make sure you're staying weather aware. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Matty was a big Browns fan. Scratch that, we mean he's a big fan of the former Browns. The Baltimore Ravens. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, Matty, talk me off the ledge.
What do you need help with, big dog?
I'm not dropping him. I don't think I will. But your boy, who I drafted, Matt McClain.
Matty Mac.
Is batting 162.
Yeah, it's not great.
For your Cincinnati Reds.
Yes, sir.
Now, he did get a hit the other night, which ended a 0 for 18 or 20 streak. Mm-hmm. And I know it's baseball. This can happen. But I'm kind of in a problem here because I really don't necessarily need him. And I'm not going to – I could drop Manzardo but I hate dropping him off a bomb last night. And I want to play McClain today because he's got a doubleheader. Will he play both?
Don't know. He's been a little banged up
Play
this
the
year,
first
too.
game.
He's been a little banged up, too, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's a factor in the lack of production, especially with the batting average right now. I think you wait on Matty Mac. He'll get it. He'll get it right.
They're on at 12:40, so let's monitor that, and we'll see. He's batting second, so get on base, swipe a bag, score a run, do something for me.
Red's looking pretty good right now. I mean, we won 5 in a row.
Yeah, I was wondering, I was wondering about this yesterday, if we were getting closer to a certain declaration.
Not yet, because I got a lot of respect for what the Cubs are doing
got
right
a lot
now.
of them all for you.
Cubs have been playing some of the best teams in the league, and they're 18-12. So once their schedule gets a little lighter, they may take off. So, no, I'm not there yet. But 5 in a row, he's Tito and the gang, especially that pitching staff. I'm in. I like what I see.
Officially
print the shirts.
Not quite
That's
yet.
the AI version of me right there.
I like that version.
Maybe better than what I bring.
Everybody has that excuse now. You can just say whatever you want. Hey, it's AI, man.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Does it matter whether you never get into first place?
No. It's more of a feel thing. Once I see some more games within the division.
You're going to feel it out.
That's what I need. But yeah, we're headed in the right direction.
That's for sure. So 5 in a row.
Yeah, works for me.
Probably the hottest team in baseball.
Talk about it.
All right, so we come back to this story. It's not really a story. Buckeyes add Bo Atkinson. Now, they were trying to add depth anyway in the D-line. This kid goes into the portal. He's a top 10 portal ranked dude. And they reached out to a lot of guys. And one of the guys they're trying to bring in is this defensive end, Bo Atkinson, ironically from North Carolina. And I guess it was down to Ohio State and Georgia, made the visits. And he's here. But it had me asking the question of, this is a 6'6", 260, 11 sacks, last couple of seasons. Is this a Belichick coaching change or money thing? What do you think? Why would you let that guy out of your program?
Who knows? Yeah. But it could be from Atkinson's side of things, Bill Belichick coming in and saying, I don't know if I want to play for this guy.
That's what I mean. It could be a coaching.
He goes about, I'm saying a player decision, right? Like
that's
the player making the decision on the coach that, hey, like Bill Belichick, the way he's gone about things, I don't know if that's how I want to go about my business, on the daily as a player. There's a lot of buzz.
If I don't play well, I may have to answer to his girlfriend.
Correct, right? Like come bend the knee to her in her office, which I'm sure she'll have in short order. But a lot of people are praising Ohio State for acquiring this guy. You mentioned the other team that was in the mix, and that was Georgia. We know Kirby Smart identifies talent as at the highest level, and especially defensive talent, because that's where Kirby made a lot of his money prior to him taking over down there at Georgia. They needed a guy like this, in my opinion, because that defensive line came to life last year. I mean, prior to last season, we talked so much about, like, where are the sacks? Well, where are the sacks at? Coach Day and Coach Johnson, they were selling us on pressures, and those are important, and I get it, but we saw the impact that it does make when your dudes on the D-line get home. When they get home, and one of those plays that'll go on and live on forever is that play that Jack made against Texas. And those are the type of impactful plays you have to have. This is a guy that hasn't played a ton over at North Carolina. You read up on what he does well, and it's getting after the quarterback. So he may come to Columbus, and Coach Johnson, Coach Patricia may put him in those situations to where he can just hunt. Hey, big dog, it's time to get out there, 3rd and long, 2nd and long, get downhill and make some noise. Seems like they got a talented one from Chapel Hill, and I can't wait to see what he does, because you mentioned what he has as far as the physical traits go. You get around Coach Johnson, Coach Patricia, they can fine-tune some of that and hopefully make him a more dominant player.
All right, TLC, play the comment from Ryan Day yesterday about landing Bo Atkinson.
Very excited about adding Bo. Had an opportunity to spend time with he and his family on their visit. You guys have seen some of the film. We think that it's a great addition to the room. Somebody who has experience, has some real size, and he's excited about being at Ohio State. Great parents. Mom is actually from New Hampshire, where I'm from, so there was a connection there. Both parents went to UConn, but Bo made it very clear that he wanted to play at the highest level. Hit it off with Larry, which Coach Patricia, and so I think it'll be a great addition to our room as we head into the summer.
Awesome. It really is. You read North Carolina message boards, and like, this one hurts. This one is painful for them. And the other weird part is that a lot of people have predicted going to be an SEC team, which is most likely, obviously, comes to the Big Ten at Ohio State. And so this is a massive thing. This is part of college football now. It's free agency, and Ohio State is top of the mountain. And certainly he's seen what's happened here and the guys that are going into the pros. So this could, if he lives up to it, 6'6", 265 plus, I mean, this is going to be a guy that can get home, like you said. You start pairing him with the other guys, and you start thinking about Kenyatta Jackson. Like, now, think about this, the 6'6" club, man. Like, this is a big deal. So
they look the part. They look the part, and no doubt it is a nice get. I agree with you, but these guys have to be ready to go right away. They have to be, because you lost so much veteran leadership, but more importantly, so much NFL talent from that D-line room alone. And it started with Tyleik Williams as a first-round pick all the way down to, Ty Hamilton and Jack Sawyer and JT being a second-round pick. And so there's a lot of opportunities available for those guys. And you just hope that you have a couple guys that can be pass rushers. You have a couple guys that can be run stuffers. And I'm looking at the middle of that defensive line specifically because the presence that was Tyleik was so big. And when you have a guy on the interior of your D-line that can hold up and push the pocket right down the middle and right down the quarterback's face, like, that's a huge, huge deal. So the development of that is going to be paramount, because on the back end, I think that secondary is going to round into form fairly quickly when you have the experience on the outside with a guy like IGB, the best safety in the country, and Caleb Downs. But that D-line, man, that game is won. It starts and ends down there in the trenches. So hopefully we're talking about Atkinson and some other guys early on in game number one popping off the screen and creating some static more times than not.
Yeah, and the let's spin this one real quickly, is kind of tipping his hand on the quarterback race.
I felt like Lincoln going into the spring game was a little bit ahead of Julian, and then I thought if you just watched the game, Julian probably performed a little bit better than Lincoln during the spring game. And here we are, so gone back through, watched the spring practices, look at the grades, they're very similar. So we'll take it into the summer, and we'll let them play. The more you play, the more these things find a way to work themselves out. So who knows? Who knows how it's going to shake? My guess is they're going to need each other. We're going to need Tavian to come as well. He's got to be able to help. It's going to be a long season. And we're not talking about, someone like Will, who's, a fifth-year senior, who's, 22, 23 years old, who's just been around, who, that was a long run he went on, so we need depth in that room.
That was a very subtle line that we didn't talk about yesterday, is they're going to need each other. That can be taken in a lot of different ways. You need to push each other and find a way to push the right guy to the top, or that we may actually play this out and then you never know. No, not play it out on the field necessarily.
I'm just not a fan of that. The two quarterback thing we saw with Kyle and Devin a couple years ago. I just don't think it works out well. Like, I think it sounds good in theory, but I think it's hard to catch a rhythm for the quarterbacks, guys, wide receivers, tight ends, running back. You just don't really know what you're getting, snap in and snap out. And so I'm not a fan of the two quarterback thing in games that matter at all. They just got so much inexperience in that room. I mean, Lincoln's attempted 22 passes. Julian's attempted 12 in games. Prior to last year, Will had attempted 779 passes. So there's going to be a learning curve coming for no matter who the guy is in week one on down.
I guess I didn't mean that they would play them both in the same game or try to musical chair this thing. What I meant is if one guy does get the start and he doesn't look great, that they could make a switch at some point in the season.
At some point, yeah, but I think if you name the guy right out of the gate, like, I like to give him 2-3 weeks to figure it out. Not have like a knee-jerk, you play bad, now you're done type of thing. That's just me, but I'm not making $10, $11 million a year to make those decisions,
That's too bad.
They know much more than I do.
I mean, deserved. I mean, come on. We come back with Adam Schefter. Maddie, was there a prank call part 2? And not to this guy, but to another. Schefter has the intel in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
This spring, celebrate the sparkle that she brings to your life with something that sparkles right back. Whether it's for Mother's Day, an anniversary, or just because, Diamond Cellar has the perfect gift for the women who mean the world to you. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Selma Road and at Easton Town Center.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Chevrolet, Central Ohio's #1 Chevy dealer. Lease a new 25 Chevy Trax, $139 a month, or a new 2025 Silverado, just $288 a month at all 5 Coughlin Chevy locations and CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Trax is a 36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing. Silverado is a 24-month lease with $49.99 due. Both plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/25.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
NFL Playbook with ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
All righty. So much to get to. Very much looking forward to this week with our friend Adam Schefter, senior NFL insider for ESPN. He's on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Shefty, are you recovered? How do you feel?
With the NFL, to be honest, it just keeps rolling on. Like, you think it's going to be quiet, and it never is. There's always stuff, and that continues to be the case. Saying all that, the draft, to me, always represents the time in your life when you felt like you just finished your last college final, and you might have a summer job, and there might be some work, but you felt like, the heavy lifting was over for a couple of months. until late in the summer. And that's kind of the way I feel right now. May and June are the best months of the year for me personally, in terms of just trying to have a life. But it never really ends.
I get it, my man. All right, so let me get something out of the way first before we get into all the Shedeur stuff. Was there another prank call? Because now I feel like, and I think you've even talked about this, did another top prospect get pranked?
Yeah. I just got a text about it. Abdul Carter got a call while the Jaguars were on the clock from somebody purporting to be from Jacksonville, saying that they were going to take him, the number 2 overall pick. And, yeah, that happened. Now, again, he didn't have to wait long, and he kind of knew that it was BS, and this was before prank calls were trendy, but he didn't believe it at the time, and then obviously it didn't turn out to be true, and he went to the Giants moments later.
Any connection with that one with an NFL team?
I honestly don't know. That's up to the NFL to figure out, but it does seem like there are a rash of them, and the league has said that Jack Selbrick is confined to the Falcons. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. That's up to them to figure out. Just very odd that we've got all these prank calls, right?
Yeah, no, my mind went to whether he started with Abdul and then went on to the next one. All right, so give me your best belief in football terms or non-football terms or the interview process. Every team's different. I said yesterday that I didn't believe there was any way that somehow that Shedeur was on a no draft order with the owners through 4 rounds and then suddenly he's fair game in the 5th round. I didn't believe that, but I do think that there's something to this massive slide based on perhaps something that happened during the pre-draft process. What do you believe to be true?
I believe it's a combination of factors. I believe we've got a player that some teams didn't have rated as high as the public would have thought. I believe we had a draft in which there weren't a ton of teams that had a blatant quarterback need up early that didn't go quarterback. And there were teams that needed a quarterback that did go quarterback and filled that need. Now, Pittsburgh was still sitting out there and for whatever reason decided not to go Shedeur. And at some point in time, we also know that Shedeur didn't have an interview process that was for everybody. Some teams were turned off by him. That's also true. So you've got a prospect that, again, in the eyes of some teams was not as good as his pre-draft ranking. You got a lack of teams needing quarterbacks. You got some of those teams filling that hole. You got a poor pre-draft process, and you got it all coming together on draft weekend to create what I think everybody would agree was probably the most significant slide of what we thought was a top prospect going into the draft.
Shefty, I want to ask you about, because there's a theory out there that maybe Jimmy Haslam had obviously he does in everything they do, but specifically with Shedeur at the time, that he may have said, hey, no, we're taking Shedeur at this point. What's your understanding of the process of how the Browns went from drafting Dylan Gabriel and then trading up to get Shedeur in the 5th? Was that Andrew Berry's call or was that Jimmy Haslam's call?
Yeah, I think these things are made as organizations, because I don't think, even though I'm sure he was in favor of it, that Jimmy Haslam gets on the phone or is in the war room with his front office and says, guys, we are taking Shedeur Sanders here. Okay, I don't care what you tell me. Go trade up and go get him. Do you think an owner is going to do that? I don't. Do I think that he wanted them to take Shedeur? Yes. Do I think he had a relationship with Deion? Yes. Do I think that his voice may have contributed to the collaborative process? Yes, I do. But I don't think it was some directive or order like we've got to go get this done. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, staying in the AFC North, another story that popped up over the first few days of the draft was George Pickens down there in Pittsburgh. What's your understanding of where Pittsburgh's at with him and I guess their desire to move on from him? I don't know if that's the right word to use, but is George Pickens available right now?
I think the Steelers are open to listening on George Pickens. I think it's not a simple deal to pull off. You're talking about a very talented wide receiver. but somebody who has had some punctuality issues. And I think that they've brought it up. I don't think that there's a team out there that's willing to give up what Pittsburgh would need to part ways with a wide receiver as talented as George Pickens. And so right now I don't view it as viable. That certainly could change. I think Pittsburgh would listen. I think Pittsburgh has listened, and I don't think anything's come close to happening with him.
So with the Shedeur slide, or when he was sliding, there was the thought that, listen, he went all the way to the fifth, so it's not like I can go back to Pittsburgh and say, how did they let him get by? Because everybody else did too. But does this impact your thoughts about Rodgers more or less?
Well, I think that they believe that Aaron Rodgers eventually is going to sign, but they can't fully bank on it. You just don't know. But Aaron Rodgers certainly sounds like a guy who wants to play. His only viable option right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would think that at some point in time, and it doesn't seem like he's in any rush, that the two sides would figure it out and that he would come in and sign with Pittsburgh. But we're not there yet. We could get there today, next week, next month, who knows? But, yeah, I think that look, if you listen to the words of the owner, Art Rooney, he said over the weekend, there's something to the effect of, we're optimistic that this is going to get done relatively soon. So he said that.
Right. Is Cousins going to play this thing out in Atlanta? Is he just going to be...
he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice. And there are not an abundance of options for him right now. The options that would have been in play have dried up. Minnesota might have been an option. The Vikings traded for Sam Howell. Pittsburgh would be an option if Aaron Rodgers didn't come back, but I think people think he will. Cleveland's not an option. Cleveland, I don't think, ever could have afforded Kirk Cousins. And the Browns drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks to boot, so that's not an option anymore.
Shefty, I want to ask you about something the Browns did when it comes to Elijah Moore, and they hit him with the unrestricted free agent tender. Can you break that down, exactly what that means for Elijah Moore? And I believe J.K. Dobbins got the same.
We've seen 2 players that essentially, with that distinction, that title, the last 2 days. And what it is when a team applies the unrestricted free agent tender to a player, as the Browns did with Elijah Moore, as the Chargers did with J.K. Dobbins, that player remains eligible to sign with any team. But what they're doing is, by applying that tender now, it makes that player count into the compensatory pick formula if he signs with another team before training camp opens in July. And if he doesn't sign with another team before training camp opens in July, then that team, in this case the Browns with Elijah Moore, the Chargers with J.K. Dobbins, retain his exclusive negotiating rights.
Did you hear? So Brady Quinn was on ESPN Cleveland the other day, and he claimed that some of the people he talked to, people in the NFL, claimed that Shedeur went into some of these interviews with headphones on or answering a FaceTime call, and that he wasn't prepared when given an install packet. Did you hear anything like that?
Again, there's a lot of things you hear. I don't know what's real or what's not. I just can say safely that I don't think he had the cleanest, smoothest interview process. And I do think that impacted and influenced ultimately where he wound up going in the draft.
Okay. All right, my man. Always good to have you. Be well. We'll talk to you again next week.
Guys, thank you very much for having me. Have a great week. We'll talk next Wednesday, and have a great weekend.
You too. Adam Schefter with us, ESPN Senior NFL Insider on ESPN. He was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Do you guys feel like, and I'll put this to the loose cannon because he's the local Steeler fan here, with a depth chart of Mason Rudolph and now a rookie in Will Howard and Skylar Thompson, do you feel like this could finally be the Steelers saying, we're going to play the hand we're dealt? If we're a sub-500 team, so be it. Tomlin's not saying this, but I'm just wondering if this is just now an organizational thing where, you know what, we have fought the good fight. We're always over 500. We're always threatening for the playoffs. Maybe we're one and done. Maybe it's time we lean into this is who we are, and if we win 6-7 games, even the better.
That doesn't feel like the Steeler way to me. And I don't know if you're Mike Tomlin, how the heck you sell that to T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward.
Because I
don't know how you sell that to
Manny, I kind of felt like, well, my instincts would be if the Rodgers thing doesn't work out or you don't want to wait for him anymore, you do go get Cousins. Mm-hmm. You do pry him out of Atlanta. You do pay him whatever the lower on if you can, and then you don't wait for Rodgers. So either they are waiting for Rodgers and they really think it's going to happen, or they don't mess with that gamble and they say, we want to try to win football games, and Cousins gives us a better chance over their season than Rudolph.
I think they would play that card before Rudolph. What do you think, TLC?
Well, I'm thinking with those guys, it depends on their status with the organization. If they view Mike Tomlin as unfireable because he's been successful, not for a long time, but he has been successful, I would assume, without knowing for sure, that the Steelers probably pride themselves on the whole, we've only had 3 head coaches since 1969. If this is just, they have their guy or whatever sort of cliche you want to throw out there, then maybe they can afford to do that. But as far as the fans are concerned, the GM and the head coach are performing for their jobs this year. And if they go out there with just Mason Rudolph, if they do some tank job that the fans actually want because we want to draft a good quarterback eventually,
right?
Then that's something that would not include those decision makers in the future. Yeah. So I don't think they have the leeway to be like, oh, yeah, we're not. This is just going to be the year that we tank because you're probably going down with the ship.
Yeah. I feel like there's a little bit of we're just going to play the hand we're dealt.
The only thing I disagree with is I don't think Mike Tomlin is coaching for his job this year. I don't think so.
All right, we'll come back with another kind of look ahead and look back. If this kid if he came out, Maddie, as the kids say, would he have been him? That's next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. April's a great time to spruce up around your house, like getting rid of those old, ugly, drafty, hard-to-open windows and starting fresh. Especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. There's no limit to how much you could save, and if you buy a house full of windows, they'll include a free entry door, too. Plus, with 0% financing, 0 down, and no monthly payments, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. How do they do it? Well, Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation to build windows to their high-quality specs. Then they pass the savings on to you. You'll protect your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Hurry, the sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy 4, get 4 free and pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com. One more time, that's buy 4, get 4 free from Window Nation, 866-90Nation or windownation.com.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, kids.
Anthony once did magic for birthday parties. See, when you say it out loud, it doesn't sound so bad. Back to Rothman and Ice.
It actually was amazing. The magic trick I'd like to see is Matt McClain get on base. That would be a neat trick. 3-2 count. And did he get a piece? He got a piece. All right. Still in there. Hang it in, Matty. That 162.
Listen, man, let him work. Let the kid work. He'll get right. He'll get you right. Don't worry about it. Just be a little patient, you know?
There's no patience in fantasy.
That's true.
You either perform or you're gone. And guess what?
Perform or you're gone. Damn, tough crowd.
All right. So the funny part about the draft next year is it's being talked about as like 26, the one to tank for.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one. We're going to get our quarterback. It's going to happen. And I think everybody believes that Arch Manning will be coming out. He's the betting favorite to be the number one pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Insert jingle here or chime. So now the interesting part would be is if a team drafting number one next year is, I'll tell you what, let me put Cleveland in that mix.
Okay.
Ground out. Is that going to be the chime for Matt McClain making out?
He struck out, actually.
Oh, he struck out. Oh, it was a drop third strike. Okay. I was wondering why he was running to first base.
Even worse.
That's got to be that's a tough one, but you got to leg it out. You got to run it out. You never know. If the Browns are picking first next year, are they taking a quarterback? Like, do we have?
It just depends on the
exactly.
Is there
how much Shedeur plays?
Well, also
how much Gabriel plays.
Is there a Abdul Carter type? Is there just another rock solid guy at a position where we're not passing up on that? But I think, with what you said, that's the headline is what the heck that quarterback room looks like and how that shakes out.
So and we'll talk about this in the next segment, but I looked at a mock draft for 26, and they had the Jets picking third, and they just signed Justin Fields.
Yeah, they did.
So who knows whether the Jets are going to be in the market for a new quarterback again to build the franchise around in 26 after they signed a 2-year deal with Fields. But you were telling me that if Drew Aller would have come out this year, that he would have been...
Well, this isn't me saying it. This is Dane Brugler from The Athletic, who is respected as one of the top draft analysts out there. And here's what he had to say on Ross Tucker's podcast about Drew Aller.
Drew Aller's interesting. If he would have came out, does he go 2 to the Browns? Did the Browns just not make that trade and take Aller at 2? There's a very good chance that that's what happens. We'll never know for sure, but I think there's a very good chance Drew Aller would have been a number 2 overall pick. I think for his maybe long-term development is probably the right move to go back, just be more consistent with the way he sees the field.
I don't know, AR. Watching Drew Aller last year, I didn't see top 2 pick, top 5 pick. I've always seen potential with that guy. Like he looks the part. That pocket passer between 6'4", 6'6", cannon of an arm, just makes it look easy. And he did elevate his play last year. I have to give him that. They changed offensive coordinators over there. They brought in Andy Kotelnicki from Kansas, and things did look better for him and them. But this is going to be the challenge this season coming up for Drew, because now this hype's out there. This hype's been out there since he was a big-time recruit. But now when we talk about NFL draft status, it's through the roof. It's him and Arch Manning. Could those guys be the quarterback one? Who is going to be the guy? But over there, James Franklin and that offense now are looking around and saying, we just lost Tyler Warren. He was a first-round pick. Their offensive weaponry in that wide receiver room last year, to me, was not impressive at all. And yes, they're going to have the 2 running backs back, which will be a great place to start. But Drew Aller's going to have to, I think, elevate the playmakers around him this year. And if he does that, then he will no doubt, I think, be in that conversation, because as far as physical traits goes, he has everything you want outside of that elusiveness. Like, he doesn't have, to me, a high level with that. But as far as cooking you from the pocket, I think Drew Aller has that ability.
Yeah, it's not really that mobile.
Yeah.
He is a pocket passer. He threw a very, very, not a bad pass, but he made a horrible decision at the end of the playoff game against Notre Dame. That's a first down play. Yes, he felt pressure to get them in field goal range, but it's a tie game. At worst, you have to go to overtime there. He did have pressure in his face, so I don't want to crush him completely, but that's a throw that's a throw you make on 4th down when you're trailing.
Yeah, it was tough.
That's a throw you make then, not on 1st down in a tie game, late in the game, knowing you're going to go to overtime. You have to Weird Al Yankovic. You got to eat that. Just eat it. You cannot throw that pass, and he did. So something to learn from. Comes back. You're right. He passes all the measurables. The reason I brought up the Steeler thing last segment is it feels tailor-made for me, or tailor-made in my mind, that Drew Aller would be a Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback. That's a poor man's Ben Roethlisberger.
Why? Because he's like not skinny.
Well,
what does that mean? Because everyone says that about like
Penn State, right to the Steelers. Just seems
geography.
AR Browns fans may be saying, but this is a Northeast Ohio kid. This is our guy.
That's my pie. I would say.
And now we got to figure out what the Saints are going to do, because if they're terrible next year, we have Arch Manning, who's from New Orleans, and we have Garrett Nussmeier, whose dad is the offensive coordinator. What are we going to do?
Right.
The weirdest thing will be is if Arch Manning comes out, and we'll talk about this next. We don't get to see what we need to see, or what, more importantly, what they need to see out of Shedeur Sanders and Gabriel and whoever else, or Pickett, or whoever they want to keep in. Flacco, no. I'm talking about the future. If they don't see what they need to see, and the Browns are picking top 2 again, how do they not take Arch Manning?
Here's what I'll say real quick with Arch. This dude may not even come out next year.
Thank you.
He's got 2 to 3 years left of eligibility.
Right.
No, I know you're saying if. I'm just saying, like, Vegas is telling us this. These draft analysts are telling us this, that he's the number 1 pick. Like, he may come back. He's making a ton of money at Texas right now. He hasn't played a lot of football down there at Austin. And so I'm in wait-and-see mode with that. I know the last name, you put that on the marquee, that moves the needle. I understand that. But Arch Manning may run it back again down there in Austin.
Probably so. All right, we'll deal with what we know, the guys that are actually on the team. And we'll get into that next segment. But a quick second for my friends over at Germain Honda of Dublin. You know, I was just over there with a friend of mine, Chanel number 5, and he needed a vehicle. And he was looking at other vehicles in the same class. And we went over there together, met him at the dealership, and I will do that for anybody, really. You don't have to be a personal friend. That's how much I feel good about the trust factor and the vehicles over at Germain Honda of Dublin. He wound up getting himself a beautiful CR-V Sport Hybrid, that great urban, quote, Meyer gray color. I added that. And Rich has great deals. And I went through the entire process. not of buying the vehicle, but with him as his wingman buying the vehicle, checking things, tires, cosmetics, going through the financial part of it. And I found an unbelievably great process because that's what you really want. You want to feel like you're being treated fairly and that you're valued. And more importantly, you got a great vehicle you can rely upon and that it's not just add-on after add-on. And he got just a great vehicle. So I'm very happy for him, and I want to be happy for you too. So please go out and check out Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road. They're just south of 270, and meet with the folks there. Meet with Rich and his team. Talk to Jerry. Talk to Nishi. Talk to some of the guys that I talk to when I go to the dealership and find that it is the Honda dealership here in Central Ohio. We'll come back with that Browns quarterback shuffle, and then the call. And I've got a pranker story for you, Maddie. You'll hear that next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Want to learn about Pick 4 from the Ohio Lottery? Okay. Pick 4 is a daily draw game where you pick 4 individual numbers between 0 and 9 that can be played straight, where each number must be drawn in an exact order or box where they can be drawn in any order. You can win up to $2,500 on a 50-cent bet. Learn more at ohiolottery.com or the Ohio Lottery app. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want to go back to the radio? Okay.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious blueberries, money saved. A creamy treat of cookie dough ice cream, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also 10 points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit Rocket.com. Rocket. Own the dream.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. We've got day baseball going on right now over on ESPN Columbus. They're in the bottom of the second at Great American Ballpark. The Cincinnati Reds trail the St. Louis Cardinals 1-0. Mason Wynn, a solo home run for that run. Game 2 of their doubleheader tonight at 6:40, also on ESPN Columbus. The Cleveland Guardians with the rubber match of their series with the Minnesota Twins tonight at 6:10. Luis Ortiz gets the start for Cleveland opposite Pablo Lopez. 6:35 tonight, the Columbus Clippers continue their series with St. Paul over at Huntington Park. NBA playoffs tonight. Golden State is in Houston at 7:30, and the Lakers host the Timberwolves at 10. 3 games in the NHL playoffs. Montreal at Washington at 7. Tampa hosts Florida at 7:30, and 9:30 Winnipeg hosts St. Louis. This one's sponsored by RCD RV. RCD's open house is May 3rd through the 10th with over 650 RVs in stock.
Anthony once got Jack Nicklaus to quote the movie Caddyshack, so he's got that going for him.
The last time I saw a mouth like that, I had a hook.
Which is nice. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Let's go while we're young.
A lot of people think the Browns have just now a full depth chart. Here we go. Quarterbacks everywhere. Great shape. I don't know. No, it's not. Feels like just Band-Aids everywhere. And, you kind of, you hope springs eternal up there in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say they didn't get value in Shedeur because I do believe some of the people that felt he was at least a top 2-round pick, not 5th. So you got to at least think they got value. What else they got in him are the intangibles. Now he really wants to show. And not that he didn't before, but now it's like, I got to prove Mel Kiper right. Mel was losing his mind.
He really was.
And it was great. And I really like Mel a lot. He's convicted. He says what he feels. He's willing to pay the price because you can play it year after year. The ones he missed, the ones he hit, that's the draft. The beauty for Mel is that nobody knows what they're talking about when it comes to this stuff. Like, it's a big guesswork.
Even NFL teams themselves. Yeah.
Right.
We've had miss after miss after miss at that position and every other
situational,
position.
too.
100%.
It's not just the human being you're drafting. It's the situation you're putting him in.
No doubt.
So when you talk about it, this guy's a can't miss. Like, you better hope. It's a team game. We're not drafting individuals. Right. And so that's the other issue, that the reason it's not scientific. But the Browns, they didn't really have any quarterback problem until the Deshaun Watson thing just never happened. They were set. They gave up a lot, and they thought they got a lot. And now, like Haslam says, they're digging themselves out of this hole. I read him right. I read Barry wrong. I didn't know that Barry was talking about Travis Hunter as the unicorn only to get more people to the table. We're willing to get out of pick 2, not just with the Jags. Now I know I got the Jags on the hook. I've been talking to them for 2 weeks. They want up. Great. You know what I can do to them? Bring more people to the pool. Let them fish in here as well. Like, I really feel like That's what happened there.
So you think the whole way through that he was trying to fool us with trickery?
I feel like the Jaguar deal was already pretty much in shape before Thursday. It felt like they had the framework of it, and that maybe when he did the presser, and that, listen, Schefter got fooled too. We had him on. It's like there's no way he's talking about him like that and not taking him. How foolish would that be? Well, the only way out of it, we talked about this a long time ago about trading down the possibilities of it. The only way to really get out of not taking what everyone thought would be a home run pick is to get a lot more picks, is to feel like, wow, we won the trade in numbers. Not players yet, but numbers. Because you can't just, if they wouldn't have gotten that 2026 first rounder, I think we would have been like, okay, you passed on a potential home run here, but he's a non-quarterback. And so it was a lot easier for them maybe to get out of that, to draft out of it and not pay the price publicly because of what they got. And people do know the Browns have a quarterback problem. So it made sense, unless you love Shedeur. And I know you like Shedeur more than most. And now he's got a chance. He's with the same team, Matt. He worked out beautifully. They got him in the 5th round. Like, this is perfect. He can go prove people wrong. But now they got a problem because they traded the Eagles for Kenny Pickett. And they drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur.
Yeah.
Like, if you really wanted Shedeur, like really wanted and thought this is value, where did Dylan get picked? I forget.
3rd round. Okay. Don't remember exactly what
Late
number
90s,
it was.
I think.
So they could have easily said, no, we're taking Shedeur here.
That's why, to me,
that's why it's so weird.
I don't honestly believe that Andrew Berry on his own was like, this is the time to take Shedeur. I don't believe that. I'm sorry, because it just doesn't make a lot of football sense.
You had already taken Gabriel.
Correct. And so that's why I'm always going to believe, AR, that old Jimmy said, no, we're taking him now. You're taking Shedeur Sanders at this point, because like you just said, if you really like Shedeur that much, then you would have selected him somewhere between rounds 2, 3, and 4. But once you take Dylan Gabriel, I'm like, okay, they're done taking quarterbacks. I mean, they're the first team since 2012 to take 2 quarterbacks in the first 5 rounds. This is just something we don't see. It's just something we don't see. And so last year, they went into the regular season with 3 quarterbacks after they cut Tyler Huntley. So at some point in time, AR, I think there's going to be some moving and shaking in this quarterback room, whether that's via trade, somebody's getting cut. I just don't think they're going to have this exact quarterback room when we get to week 1. I don't even know if that makes any type of football sense. So whether it's Pickett, Flacco, I think Gabriel and Shedeur will be on the roster, but they just got a funky situation going on right now. And so we've gone from the Baker Bros to now, AR, we're going to be talking in training camp, the Dylan's dudes and Shedeur's soldiers. That's what I'm seeing out there on social media right now. Which side are you going to be on as a Browns fan?
The dudes and soldiers.
The eyes of the NFL world are going to be all over this quarterback situation. It reminds us of one of our favorite scenes from a Batman movie when the Joker was trying to get his gang together and add a member or two, and this is the way that he told them to figure it out.
Now, our operation is small, but there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion. So which of you fine gentlemen would like to join our team? Oh, there's only one spot open right now, so we're gonna have tryouts.
That's going to be the Browns quarterback room this summer going into training camp. Because AR, they ain't keeping all these guys, right?
Kevin Stefanski's going to have to snap a pull stick.
Fellas,
figure it out.
You've got to choose whether to kill one of your own or face your own death.
Stefanski.
I'm with you. And the Browns did trade up to get Shedeur, right?
Yeah, they did.
So I want to leave a little room for just life happening, the way the board fell. We liked Dylan more than Shedeur, so we took him where we took him. And then we definitely thought he would be gone by pick 144.
Yep.
So we picked Dylan at 94. And then 50 picks later, whatever, he's still there. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to leave a little room for, we like Dylan more than him. Didn't think he'd be there. Still there. And we got a quarterback problem. Why don't we just take him too? Because even though we took Dylan Gabriel where we took him, it doesn't make him a sure thing. And so now they basically what this is volume shooting. They're volume shooting at quarterback, which I don't have a huge problem with. I mean, although they have other needs, but they had addressed defensive tackle and linebacker and running back twice or wherever
they drafted 2 running backs as well, which I understand. I get
and a
that
tight
part.
end and all that. So I don't know what people that are really close to the program might look at their pressing remaining needs being, hey, you could have spread it around a little bit. But I think the value was too good in their book at that point for this kid. I'm with you. I feel like that at some point, and I also believe Schefter, though. I think Jimmy had something to do with it, but I don't think he was, hey, take him or else. I think they all felt like, oh, you don't think that Stefanski...
I don't think Andrew Berry at that point in time wanted to draft Shedeur. I think they were done with quarterback. Yeah. I really believe that. I think the big dog came swooping in and saying, this is what we're doing.
For the marketing and everything else. Yeah, and the chance that he might be really
correct.
Good.
Yeah.
But his football guys would know better.
I hear what you're saying about the volume in this, but how does that play out throughout? Because, like, all these guys are going to need reps. Everybody is, I think, going to get a fair crack at being the starting quarterback for the Browns. So how does that work out? Like, if I'm Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees, that's a lot on our plates. A lot on there. Because I don't think anybody's stamped right now as the guy. So I think everybody's going to get equal opportunity to be that guy. That's just messy to me. And
their investments are different. They need Flacco. He's the veteran. We had to play a game today. You'd feel like you have a safe floor, hopefully.
Yeah.
You traded for Kenny Pickett, so you felt like there was some value. But when we traded for him, we didn't have these other 2 guys. Yeah. So maybe his value's down a little bit. And then you have to believe the obvious is that they feel Gabriel's more valuable to Shedeur just on paper. And then the whole marketing, the whole pie in the sky thing with Shedeur, maybe he is. I mean, let's be honest. If Shedeur was picked second by the Browns, the league wouldn't have just fell over. They would have said, okay, they're going to take another shot. This is what you do in the NFL. Yep. The guy won the 5th round. He either would, if he goes second pick or 5th round, the shock's in the 5th round, not in the second pick.
I agree. I understand when you have 2 guys duking it out for one spot at that position, but if you're telling me 4 guys are going to be in line to be your starting quarterback, I don't know how that works out. That doesn't make football sense to me.
All right, we will come back with ins and outs next, and maybe the loose cannon will include a little something with predicting of who will start game 1 for the Brownies. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Tryouts. We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin. Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you. Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is proud to be the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence Award for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin or online at crowncarsdublin.com. Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a room of rejected mascot memorabilia. Is it real? No one knows. But we do know NJM is proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
We plant trees because people need trees, and when planted in the right place, they have great impact. Trees help slow climate change, filter our air and water, foster biodiversity, and strengthen our communities. They create the kind of transformational change the world needs now. April is a month filled with opportunities to care for and plant trees. For planting resources, contact an Ohio ISA certified arborist who can help you learn how to take the best care of your trees. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A mostly quiet Wednesday after a stormy Tuesday as we head through the day. Temperatures make their way to the 70s this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. We could see a stray shower push through, but that would be about it. Unfortunately, though, more strong storms return as we head into Thursday. That's going to prompt another 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Day, so make sure you're staying weather aware. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present In or Out.
Just a little of the old in and out.
All right. What you got for us in there?
All right, you asked for it, so you'll get it. Are you in or out on Joe Flacco starting game one due to his experience with playing under Kevin Stefanski?
Seems obvious to me, unless... Yeah, it does. Feels like the safe play. I'd be in on it. I don't know why anybody, unless... I mean, I think I would be pleasantly surprised if it wasn't him. Let me put it that way. And rarely would I say, oh, yeah, the 40-year-old quarterback has a leg up on everybody. But on this quarterback room, he absolutely does. But I also want to leave a little room for the fact that they have to see what they have. He's not the future. You don't want this team to go into 26 not knowing what Shedeur is, or maybe not knowing what Gabriel is. We kind of know what Pickett could be, but we're not sure yet. But so that's the other thing. Let me look at the money, too. You could follow the money a little bit. Flacco was what, $4 million, $3 million guaranteed?
1 year. Same thing with Pickett. They're not
Pickett's
committed
right
to
around
those.
there, fully guaranteed.
I think you're on this.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I think it's
safe.
Flacco. Tyvus was in with me on Monday, and he thinks it'll be Kenny Pickett. He thinks he's going to be the week one starter up there in Cleveland. Beyond the 2025 season, there's no commitment to either Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett. I do think one of Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders will start a handful of games, and I think that's what it should be. I think that's
nearly an interception by Tyvis Powell. What a mischance that was.
I think that should be the move because you nailed it, AR. Because if you hit on one of these guys, it's going to be one of the best stories ever, specifically Shedeur. Like the roller coaster ride of emotions he went through, the wackiness of how the Browns got to the point of drafting him. Those guys need, I think, a couple laps around the track in the form of starts in this league now.
Somebody's got to go, though.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're keeping all these guys on the depth chart when we get done with training camp. And so to me, that feels like one of Pickett or Flacco would be off the roster because you have that extra first-round pick next year. You don't want to go into the draft a year from now not knowing what Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders are in live game action. Because you want to say, okay, we have the clarity now that we know we're going into that draft drafting a quarterback. And so Flacco's going to be the week 1 starter, but he's not going to be promised, I think, or have a long leash because Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders got to feel what it's like to play at the highest level. But yeah, Flacco should be, not should, but I think will be the week 1 starter.
He's the favorite. If you went to like the second on the board, I would go to Pickett. And then it's one of those two dudes or soldiers doesn't make it out of camp. And I think that they may have accidentally, luck is not the right word because we don't know if he's going to be good or great, that Shedeur would be there and that the odd man out will be Gabriel. That they just picked him where they did, and I don't know how you'd admit to that.
It's a valuable pick
and
to waste.
How would you ever know? Right, a third round.
Yeah, that's a valuable pick, man.
What in the world?
All right, so I was watching the Hurricanes and Devils last night.
Overtime. Double overtime.
That's right. And I noticed in double overtime that there were a lot of empty seats. And you know what you don't really see in playoff hockey are empty seats. And so are you in or out on sticking it through a double overtime game where it's approaching midnight when you have work the next morning?
TLC, let me tell you this. Your boy is always trying to beat traffic. Always. AR knows that one of my biggest pet peeves is sitting in traffic. That was
cold as ice.
Yeah, that's me. Because if you want to see me in one of the worst moods I could ever be in, it's get me in traffic. And so on a work night too, double OT, no. I'm at the crib watching the second overtime. I wouldn't make it. I would not
for a playoff.
make it.
No. For a playoff game, you're staying.
No, not me.
Yeah,
I'm gone.
No. Well, you might be gone, but we might question whether you'd be there in the first place. But I would say that's a story you need to tell. You need to sacrifice the sleep. You want to say you were at that game. It was a clinching game. It was at home. They wound up winning it. You stay forever.
I don't blame the people that left.
You want to be at work or call in the next day. Whatever you need to do, you do because you have to see that through. Whether I'm watching a game, the worst part is like when I was a kid or whatever, we'd be going to dinner with our grandparents or had to eat somewhere. And I don't know whether the Masters was running long or it was a Sunday night. My dad how do we do this? How do we stay and finish the sporting event and blow off Graham and Grant? Can it happen? And those dilemmas are real. But I think the stories are better if you can tell it later. Like, I was at that game. Like, that went 3, 4, 5 overtimes. The fact that you would be able to say, I was there, but not for the whole thing.
Be my story. I'd be happy to tell it.
It would be Maddie's story. I would say, no, once you're emotionally invested, too, and that may be the big part of how emotionally invested you are in the game. But if I'm a fan of that team and that's my team, can't abandon them. Because if they lose, I feel like maybe I had something to do with it.
The NFL fined the Falcons $250K, and they fined Jeff Ulbrich $100K for what they are calling failing to prevent the disclosure of confidential information distributed to the club in advance of the NFL draft. Are you in or out on Jeff Ulbrich losing $100,000 for something his son did?
You know what's interesting is a lot of people might go a step further and say that he deserved to lose his job. I'm not one of them. I feel like that this was, let's try. You should have protected those numbers like a treasure. But how would he have known, or did he have an inkling that his son would have done this? I don't know. Only he would know where his son is on the maturity chart. I don't know. because you could do a deep dive into, well, this kid's done this many stupid things over the last couple of years. You might have known to protect those phone numbers. The fine's pretty big if he has to pay it. It's $100,000. If he has to pay it, Atlanta's got to pay their own fine. I'm in the camp now, and I've thought about this a lot today. Yes, the sins of the son, I don't think should go to the father. I think at least in this particular instant, because now it sounds like Abdul Carter was pranked as well. Now, I'd love to know if that was Ulbricht's kid.
Tyler Warren said the same thing, that he got a prank call.
He got one.
Yeah, so
I'm wondering if this kid, that's why I asked Schefter, he didn't know Maddie. But doesn't it creep into your mind that if this kid had access to prospects' phone numbers, why would it just stop at Shedeur?
Yeah, it'd be hard. I'm with you. I can understand why your mind would go there. The punishment does fit the crime for me. But I don't want to crush Jeff Ulbricht, because if this is a situation, it's like, I don't know, the guy, the kid.
Wrong one.
You're good, man.
Son of a gun.
You're good, man. The kid broke into his office or something while he was asleep. That's what I'm saying. This is just a hypothetical I'm throwing out there. I don't know. Should Jeff Ulbricht be sleeping with that tablet, at night? Those are the things for me that I'm not going to crush him for that. But somebody has to pay in this. I don't know how the league gets after the son. Do you ban him from games around the league and all of that? I'd be in favor of that. But the team, Ulbricht getting fined, I completely understand why the league wants to come down on these two parties, because you just cannot have this stuff going on.
He's an assistant. Hit him in the wallet. Yep. That's going to hurt if he's, And I also feel like this is a great lesson for everyone. If the story was different, and I heard today that he was fired and lost a job for not protecting the numbers and his son got a hold of them, I'd almost feel more sympathy for the father. I think what happens is, since he only got fined, people are going to swing from the top rope like, this is nothing, it's only money. No, I think that...
Nice chunk of change.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that he was completely duped. His son will learn an incredibly tough lesson. And then the punishment, really, honestly, is this guy's got to live with knowing that his son did this and it went public, and he's got to have this attached to him forever.
You know what the other punishment should be? Make Jack Ulbricht one of the 100 guys fighting the gorilla. Make him one of the 100 fighting the gorilla.
Well, then that's death. Then you're sentencing him to death. All right, ins and outs for today. We come back with our man in 2 minutes, Bobby Carpenter from the Morning Juice, and we'll get his feeling on dudes versus soldiers. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Want to jinx your favorite sports team?
Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
Just ask Maddie to print your shirts. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, welcome back in. That time of the week. To tap in to the brain of BC. It's a fun little journey, and I will ask you this right off the bat, my man.
Maybe I'm going to ask you the questions. I'm going to be the one interviewing you.
A switcheroo?
Yeah. Listen, and by the way, next Sunday, it's officially switcheroo time. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think was in more trouble? Little Ulbricht's son?
Old Jax Ulbrich?
Oh, Jax Ulbrich?
Mm-hmm.
Or Bill after his performance at that 60-minute interview with old Smokey Treat?
What? Well, why would Bill be in trouble? He just kind of clammed up. I mean, he just did what he was told.
She said, we're not answering those questions.
And he didn't.
Well, I mean, maybe he didn't give an adequate response. So when he got back, he got the hose again. There was no lotion on the skin.
He wasn't given the opportunity to talk about the meet cute or whatever it was going to be. Or maybe there wasn't one. Or maybe it was something more ranged. I don't know. But how did you get that rip in the sweatshirt? No, I don't remember.
By the way, can we talk about how he went on? I'm looking at it going, is that a
CBS
stain?
This morning. What is that, a meatball he dribbled on the sweatshirt?
No, it's a hole.
That was lunch from earlier.
Here's the best part. For 20 years, we watched him get drugged to the podium because it was obligatory, and it was part of his deal. And he's Rashid, well, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Or who was that?
Marshawn Lynch.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. And Rasheed Wallace was both teams played hard, but he had to do that. He elected to do this. So I'm like trying to figure out.
Trying to sell a book.
But how good of a job are we doing at that, by the way?
It ain't going well.
Well, do you believe the email that she then tweeted out where Bill sent an email to the management team or the publicist or whatever, the company, about how we're marketing this book? And, hey, you all wanted me to admit I made a mistake in the Super Bowl, and that was going to be good for the book. And I admitted I blanked up, and you said that needed to be in the book. But now they're all focusing on that. And now I'm all 5 decades in football. Like they're going for the clickbait of the I blanked up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now he's mad about it.
What did he think was going to happen?
Exactly. You left beer on a vibrating bed. What did you think was going to happen?
I mean, for heaven's sake, listen, it's the same thing with Shedeur Sanders. He's got a pretty good platform of film for people to look at. It may not, it may not be the best thing in the world, but it sure as heck isn't fifth round film. And it's a weak quarterback draft, so he's probably somewhere between picks, 20 and 60. Mm-hmm. Probably late first, second round, maybe top of third. But because we chose to focus on that he's taking personal phone calls in a meeting, which, I'm going to be honest with you, if his job was to throw the interview, he did a pretty good job of it. He was successful. But here's the other thing. Everybody talks. So people's like, wait, he did what? He did this in here? Well, it's because he doesn't want to go here. What? That's not how this is going to work. So I don't know. Go ahead. We can.
I believe you.
For digression.
I digress. Bob, I'm just going to crack the mics and let you go. Are you so the Browns have told us technically that they like Dylan Gabriel more than Shedeur Sanders. They told you that by their actions. That's how they drafted them. Then, he's still on the board. What do we do? There's value there. We'll volume shoot at quarterback because we don't feel like we have a future there. So I will ask it this way. Are you a Dylan's dude or a Shedeur soldier right now?
I think with Dylan Gabriel, Rothman, he is the warm blanket. You know what you're going to get out of him. His dad played.
Good
He's
athlete.
an accurate passer, good athlete, undersized, high completion percentage, kind of does everything by the book. He's the girl that you probably go take to your parents' house when your mom thinks that you're a screw-up. Not saying that that's the case. If you're real confident, you got the high-flying job and you graduated from Northwestern, Mitch, and you feel good about everything, then maybe you bring Shedeur because there's a lot of upside because he's going to wear that sweet dress for you and look a little bit wild. And when she when she kisses you in front of your parents, she slips a little tongue in there, and maybe squeezes your dad a little tighter than maybe it would be normal. And you know what? He doesn't even know what to think because he's kind of excited but a little bit uncomfortable. Your mom's looking at him like, what's going on right here? And you're thinking, man, this little sex kitten right here.
Dangerous but still safe?
A little dangerous but also safe. And so Shedeur, I think what happened is like anything. All of a sudden, like I said, I'll eat lobster, and Hyde Park does it really well one way for me, so I get it there. But I'm not the biggest lobster guy in the world, so I don't need the surf and turf. But at some point in time, if you're going to offer me like a nice surf and turf and a great lobster, and like, hey, by the way, Bob, it's only $5 to add the lobster. Hey, you know what? Put 2 of them on there because at $5, it's a bargain. Okay, so I got something I didn't think I was going to be able to get. Now the problem is the state going to feel bad? And that's Dylan, the thing that I always get that's consistent, that's reliable. And how does that play in when you have Andrew Berry the night of the first round saying, hey, we got a lot of draft capital, much stronger draft the next year. Like, wink, wink. Dylan, if he's not great, he'll be a backup. We can get our first rounder next year if Kenny doesn't work out and all this stuff. And now it's like, well, how are you going to try to figure out which one of these guys is the best in one season? Like, if there's any meat on any of these bones. Like, you're trying to – I mean, you've got Joe Flacco, who you know what he is. But you've got a 3-hog dog now that you're trying to figure out which way to go with.
And, Bobby, they went into last year with only 3 quarterbacks to start the year. They got rid of Tyler Huntley. So I don't know how this works out. Like, you've been in training camps. When you got 4 guys right now on paper that looks like are fighting for one spot, like the reps, like the rhythm, how do you catch any type of rhythm as a team on an offense specifically when you have 4 quarterbacks?
So this is something that, Ryan's had quarterback stuff here that he's working through, especially this year. And I'm sitting there with Matt Patricia, and he looks over, he's like, how many more periods do we have? I'm like, listen, Coach, we got a lot of reps. We got to get these guys on the other side. You're just the punching bag. We've got to figure out who the quarterback is. So if Ryan wants to see 5 more reps on Julian Sain or Lincoln Keenholz in this period, he's just going to keep running. They're going to keep running them. So Matty, it's a great question, and they're going to have to really be intentional with how they do this to try to develop rhythm and to see who can do it, because it's almost you're trying to evaluate and build a team at the same time. So it's not the easiest thing in the world.
So you do believe that – well, what do you believe about why they picked Shedeur when they already had Gabriel?
Because I think at that point they're like, man, this guy's film's pretty good. We don't think maybe his film wasn't, Andrew Luck or Marino. Picked like the greatest guys of all time that were supposed to be that coming out. But at some point, I think that there was so much value. And I heard Bo had someone on earlier today talking about this. And, they screwed it up. They're taking, the consistent building the team, the Mason Graham, the Quinshon Judkins, get a draft pick, building a tight end, the linebacker. And then all of a sudden they go, I go, dude, you may have went into the store thinking that I'm getting the essentials. And then you know what? Like, you see something there that was the impulse buy that was really, gosh, it's this cheap? Like, holy smokes, We came here for just the bare essentials, but this is too much. So I think that at some point we might as well find out, because we've had 40 quarterbacks since we've moved back. Heck, why not have 44 more start this year? Who knows?
We have 14 Buckeyes get drafted this weekend. I want to ask you, you looked at a guy and you said, oh, I like that fit for him. Maybe a guy or two in your mind of the Buckeyes that got drafted, Bobby. Who's a guy or guys for you?
I like Tyleik Williams up at Detroit. I really like that fit. They're an aggressive defense. They need some help on the interior of that defensive line. Dan Campbell's going to be just like Vrabes, who was on Tyleik a little bit. And I was talking to Ty Hamilton and some of the guys in there had been working out, and they're like, man, I heard Vrabes said Vrabes called him fat in the meeting. And I'm like, yeah, because Tyleik's a big dude, and he knows, like, you need to be big, but not that big. And so I think Dan will probably be on him, and he'll find a way, because he's a motivator. He's tough, but everyone loves him because he's going to be honest with you, and he's going to tell you what you need to do to be the best player you can be. Love that fit. And honestly, I like Will Howard in Pittsburgh. Him and Jack both. I think that's great value there for Pittsburgh with Jack. He's going to fit in real nice. You've got a couple other Buckeyes there. They love taking Ohio State guys. And then Will, he gets to sit behind the enigma. and I'm fairly, I wouldn't say 100%, but I'd probably give it about 80% confidence that Aaron's going to sign there. Mm-hmm. And so you get to sit behind one of the best dudes. The fact that he's an Ohio State guy, and Aaron may have some good relationships with Ohio State guys, and Will's a good dude, and I think he'll be a little more parental than maybe Brett was with him in this situation. So I think it could be a very fruitful situation for him as well.
All right, final minute here with our man Bobby Carpenter. All right, so Ryan Day mentioned something about how he wants these guys to get away from football. Their season was so long, big, heavy dose of this in the spring, but also in the same breath, like summer's going to be really important, and they got to treat it right. 20 years ago, what was that? What were summers like as an Ohio State football player? What was the demand of your time versus now? Is it similar or no?
So we didn't have, first of all, we didn't have any money. So, to get away, let me get in a car and drive to Myrtle Beach or Panama City. We didn't have the money to go anywhere else. And I didn't, frankly, at the time, I was always training. And so there's an important piece to get away from it. But I think getting away from it to me is just getting away from the routine of doing it. I would still train. I know a lot of guys, we would work out together, but you're not doing it in such a structured setting. But I think Ryan wants to listen. You've had a long off season. Go spend 3 or 4 days. Take a step back. Don't let it get too far from your mind, and make sure that your batteries, like Sonny Styles, you're recharged. Caleb Downs, you're recharged. A lot of those interior offensive linemen, JJ, emotionally you're in a good spot. So when you come back, we can go, and you've got to be the leaders and set the tone. And so I think some of those guys did it. And they're like, hey, go back home for a couple days, do this, do that. But make it 3 or 4. They've had discretionary last week, and they have it the rest of this week. And so, discretionary is good. It's discretion of whether or not you want to work out. But it's also your discretion, Rothman, of how good your team is.
Yeah.
And
yes. I was going to ask you, what happened when you were coming off 8-4 and going into your senior year?
Yeah, there was no – listen, the seniors, the upper class, listen, we're leaning in on this. This is not going to happen again, okay? The Alamo Bowl wasn't near as much
That's
fun.
Right.
Okay,
you rescued the season a little bit, but yeah.
We did, but at the end, you beat Michigan. But even that year, it was a little bit like Ohio State. We lost to Texas and Penn State early on. We were, I think, 3-2. And if it wasn't for the fact that we had worked that hard in the season, you work that hard for the hard times so that when everything is going bad and you're about to be down against Michigan State at half, but thankfully their idiot coach doesn't put in a wing, and so your guys are smart enough, and Nate and Ashton can communicate with each other, block it, and run it back, and John L. Smith is there yelling, our players are playing their butts off and their coaches are screwing it up, and then all of a sudden you win the rest of your regular season games. And that's how that works.
Well, the good news is you were able to take Northwestern to overtime, and that
was 2 years.
Oh,
that was the year before.
That was the year before. I'm sorry.
Listen, you.
Hey, by the way, you were also getting a new defensive coordinator.
Exactly. So we got a new DC, just like they got. It was Patricia this year.
That's right. Yeah.
And
Snyder to Haycock, right?
100%. Yeah. You have to have a quarterback that values the football, and make sure that when they drop back to pass late in the game, that you're not leaving points on the table and leaving that field goal out there. Because you're not playing Detroit, Rothman. This is to go to the Super Bowl.
That is correct. All right, my man. Always good to talk with you. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Hey, you guys enjoy it.
Thanks, buddy. You too. Bobby Carpenter with us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fangast Hotline. See how I cut him off there quickly so I couldn't get the Paul Allen drop in? All right, we come back with Emeka Egbuka and his introductory press conference in Tampa and how it feels to be the next guy to carry on that tradition. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life. Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people just like me discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
The Fan at 1460 ESPN Columbus is your radio home for Sunday Night Baseball.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222.
The Fan.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my superhydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. His name was being tossed around a lot right before the draft. We were trying to predict where he would go. And the fun part of it is that none of us mentioned Tampa. You know, it was Green Bay I mentioned, and who else did we mention for a Mecca?
Oh, Houston was out there. Maybe Arizona. Yeah. You know, you look at where their playmaking room is. But, yeah, it was a surprise. And you were on the feed I was on watching the draft, and Booger McFarland was on there. And he's based in Tampa. And he was saying – everything that I was hearing, people I was talking to was saying that they were going defense. So even a guy that was really tapped into the Buccaneers organization was surprised that they took Emeka, not because he doesn't think he's a good player, but just because it didn't feel like a need for them right now. But then you start to hear more about where Chris Godwin is with his recovery from his injury, and that seemed like it opened up this door for Emeka to go down to Tampa when I think, which for him, it's great. I think this is a really good fit for him right out of the gate to get on a competitive train right now and be put in a situation to where they may need him to be impactful right out of the chute.
Yeah, listen, he comes from out of that Ohio State chute, which gives him a lot of advantage as far as instant credibility, but it's more about the results. He's a football player. He's an athlete. And I don't think anybody looks at him and says, wow, he's this, or he's specifically that, or he's so elusive, or he's got burst after the catch, or but he's really competitive, and he catches the football, and he knows where to be on the field. And he could be in the slot for them. He could run a lot in them 3 wide out sets. Like, he can be that guy. He's kind of following in JSN's footsteps a little bit. So he's round 1, pick 19 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he talked about, in the post-draft interviews, about being compared to other NFL receivers to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you think about those players, they're kind of the type of guys who are always open, great route running, high football IQ, very accountable. So, you know, I welcome those comparisons. I feel like all 3 of the people you just named are very, very good football players, and especially just being able to learn from Chris. I know a lot of people have made comparisons with me and him, and now me being here in Tampa. Just the kind of character he has, from what I hear, high IQ, high work ethic. That's something I strive to be in the NFL. I strive to have a career like he's had. So I think being able to learn underneath him, and you know, I'm just excited to be able to establish that relationship.
It'll be cool because I think, and I do believe Jason Light. Is that correct?
I think you nailed that.
Yeah, the GM for Tampa.
Yeah.
I think that I'm going to believe him, and that you didn't pick Emeka Egbuka to replace Chris Godwin. You picked Emeka because you feel he's ultra talented, and this allows you to not have Chris rush back. Now, I'd be completely naive if I didn't believe that. If Chris Godwin were 100% healthy and the ankle never happened, are they taking Egbuka? I don't know that answer.
I think it comes down to their belief of a guy like Jalen McMillan, who they drafted a year ago, and they got Sterling Shepard down there, and I think that was a Baker move, since, you know, he and Sterling played together at Oklahoma. So, yeah, I think what you said, it could be true. I also think there could be a long-term plan here as well, knowing that Mike Evans is a 31-year-old wide receiver who's going to be making his way to the Hall of Fame. And how many peak years does he have left? So if Mike Evans' game fades a little bit over the next year or two, Emeka's a guy that could really step up and hold down the fort for that wide receiver room. But right now, in the upcoming season, you just think about Mike Evans doing his stuff with big plays down the field, over the top type of stuff, and the savviness and the really good route running from Emeka in the middle of the field coming out of the slot. He's going to stumble into maybe not some crazy numbers in year number 1, just because Mike's going to be that first playmaker that Baker goes to more times than not. But he's going to be moving the chains a nice amount, I believe, down there in Tampa. So Baker's got to love this, and Emeka's got to love going down to Tampa with a quarterback that's not old, that has a decent amount of runway left as well. So I think all the parties involved are going to be able to benefit from this draft pick. And if Godwin comes back in short order and really can go back to his form, that 3-headed monster down there in Bucksland is going to be cooking.
No doubt. That is today's Buckeye Bulletin. All right, guys, I'm talking to you, and I want you to go get your numbers at Low T Center, because the power is in the numbers. And I want you to trust the experts. And Low T Center has been changing patients' lives for more than 15 years. They understand what guys need. And all treatments start with a very thorough in-person consultation, and they make it easy to get started with the quality of care that you expect and that you deserve. And this is huge because there's never been a better time to start testosterone replacement therapy than right now. You're going to get a free medical consultation and the free T-test at Low T Center. And the best thing about it, they have an on-site lab, so it'll process your test very quickly. And if you qualify, you can start treatment that day even. But it's really not about the pressure. It's about finding out if this is your answer to feeling better. It can be easy. It can be convenient. And Low T Center is going to give you the power to take control of your health. And that's what they do. And most major health insurance is accepted. So you really have no more excuse in putting this off. This offer is limited as far as the free test and the free consultation. So really go right now to fixmylowt.com, fixmylowt.com, and book your appointment. You'll be glad you did. We'll come back, top of the hour, Sports Center update. And could 2026 and that draft, could it take a big hit And this would be the reason. We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin. Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you. Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is proud to be the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence Award for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin or online at crowncarsdublin.com. Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy. I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets. Jim?
Up things are down, down things are up.
Sounds like things
You don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh yeah, Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom.
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Colin Man here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Watching big events are more fun at Hollywood Casino. For example, there's this draft thing coming up. Large men get selected to move to different cities and play football. That's all I'm legally allowed to say. Not only do you get the excitement of on-site wagering and camaraderie, there's prizes to win at the Sportsbook. And sign up for Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on the house. Do it now. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Game 1 of a day-night doubleheader going on right now down in Cincinnati. They're heading to the bottom of the 6th. The Reds trail the Cardinals by a score of 1-0. You can hear that one over on ESPN Columbus. Game 2 of the doubleheader tonight at 6:40, also on ESPN Columbus, beginning at 6:10. The Cleveland Guardians and the Minnesota Twins play the rubber match of their series at 6:10 tonight up at Progressive Park. Luis Ortiz gets the start for Cleveland opposite Pablo Lopez. 6:35 over at Huntington Park this evening. The Columbus Clippers continue their series with St. Paul. NBA playoffs tonight. Golden State is in Houston at 7:30. The Lakers host the Timberwolves at 10. 3 games in the NHL playoffs. Montreal is at Washington at 7. Tampa Bay hosts Florida at 7:30. And at 9:30, Winnipeg hosts St. Louis. Breaking sports news as it happens on The Fan.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. We'll get into a couple things this hour, and one of them will be the way that Giannis got involved with an opponent's dad. Not that he did it.
So I think you should flip that.
Yeah, Flipkins that. But and we'll play Giannis for you at the bottom of the hour. I've always liked him. I absolutely love him when listening to him.
It was so funny.
Cannot get enough of it.
Last night when I heard his press conference, I was like, AR's going to love what he's saying. He is going to love what he's saying.
That's amazing you thought that, because I was listening to it today, and I looked at TLC, and I said, listen, this is like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And then the longer I listened to it, I'm like, you know what? We don't have to go all 345 with it, but
because I got you 122.
Oh,
we've got, and I said
it'll be enough. The right stuff will be in there. I know you.
said TLC as well, AR, what Tyrese Halliburton said as well. So we've got both sides after last night, and it was a wild scene over there in Indy. Just absolutely something I've never seen before. It's crazy.
And just to revisit this today, because I think it is one of the bigger stories of the day, is that the Falcons were fined $250,000, and their defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, was fined an additional $100K. I don't think that they're picking up his $100,000. I've seen teams do this.
Yeah.
I've seen people say, oh, well, he's not going to have to pay that. The Falcons will pay it. They could be right. I don't know. But I think for this instance, he should want to pay it. He should. Because if this gets out that he didn't protect those phone numbers, and also the team paid his penalty for him,
it's not what you want.
It's not what you want.
You want to get on
from him. I think you have to.
I agree.
And so he failed to prevent the disclosure of that confidential information. I have no idea whether his son has pulled this crap before. I don't know whether his son is involved in the other pranks. Seems a little weird to me that you'd have 3 different individuals that found those phone numbers and individually called those 3 prospects. Certainly it could have happened. But I wonder if he just went down the list. And I'll tell you a funny story. So I was, driving home from Chicago, and I was doing the Warm Glow Shuffle, which, by the way, they shut down 65 North, like near Chicago. And there were cars and trucks backed up on 65 North going like right outside Chicago, going north, and just all being funneled off for construction purposes on this one single lane exit into this dinky town in Roselawn or wherever. And I, Maddie, I'm not joking you. It had to be 20 miles
of backup
with nowhere to go.
I would have lost my mind.
You might have abandoned the vehicle.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
good chance of that.
I'm driving home and I'm picking up our friend Dan Dockich.
Okay.
I pick him up a little bit north of Indy, not quite to West Lafayette, and then he carries me all the way to Springfield almost. And I don't know who he had on the program, but I know it was a former Indiana guy. So he says to him, he admits live on there, he goes, this kid pulled a stupid thing, but I did the same thing when I was his age or something similar. And Dockich goes, oh, what did you do? He goes, when I was at Indiana, back in the day before there were massive amounts of cell phones and internet and all that, he goes, I got a hold of the phone book for the dorms. Like there was a phone where you could actually call a physical number in a dorm. There was a phone in a dorm. No answering machines or anything like that or voicemails. Someone had to answer or that was it. Mm-hmm. Or it was busy. And so he goes, I started with the dorm phone book, the freshman phone book. And I started with the A's. And I started calling everybody I could and told them, hey, this is, you name it. Name a name, Joe Blow from wherever, from the Beta House, and we're all going to be watching Monday Night Football. I'm the Rush chairman. Damn glad to meet you. I'm the Rush chairman of, I don't know, Beta Theta Pi or whoever, and he says, we're all going to watch Monday Night Football tonight, and it's going to be a great night, and we want to invite you, and we're going to have prime rib and buttered corn and
garlic mashed potatoes. Yeah.
And
what's for dessert
all the
over
beer
there?
You can drink.
Yeah.
Which you should have led with maybe. And all the beer you can drink. So we have all of this for you. And we're all going to gather outside the house around 6 p.m. Just wear a jacket and tie. And then we'll all have a great night together. So he said he took 4 hours to do this. He must have called 400 people.
That's dedication.
And a lot of them answered. And he and his buddy, then around 6 o'clock, got in a car and drove past the Beta House. And he claims
it was booming over
there were 200 people on the lawn in jackets and ties.
That's good.
Waiting for this prime rib, mashed, buttered corn, all the beer you could drink football night.
Because that's all it takes for college kids. You got alcohol, you got food, I'm in. Let me know where I need to be.
Must have sold it perfectly. I almost drove off the road. I was laughing so much.
That's good.
But that's different than calling Shedeur Sanders and pretending to be part of a team on a stream. And by the way, did I see a video that these guys recorded themselves doing it?
Yeah, it's...
how stupid can you be?
That's a fair question. And it's very idiotic. I don't understand it at all. But at the same time, we've seen so many people, whether they're 21, 51, 61, looking for viral moments. For whatever reason, people just crave that, to have that one tweet, that one Instagram video, whatever it is, go viral and people liking all your stuff for a 24-hour period. The long game is never thought of. It's never thought of with stuff like this. So this kid, Jack Solbrick, he's going to have this attached to him for the rest of his life. He may feel like it's worth it. I don't know.
I doubt it.
But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he, I don't know. You
it's
never know.
It's only worth it. It would only been worth it to him. And I say this not being that guy. I would never have been that guy. Is that if he would have gotten away with it and no one would have found out who he was, and 20 years later, he's telling the story publicly on a radio station, whatever.
Yeah.
And now there's decades that have passed and there's no harm, no foul technically. That's the only way he could think it may have been worth it. I can't imagine taking someone's what may be their best moment
of their life,
and
potentially.
you could listen. He could justify it any way he wants. Shedeur Sanders bring this on himself.
No, there's no room for any of that.
Of course,
any of that
He could
crap.
justify it in his mind that he was the right guy. If you're going to do it with one guy, he may have been the guy. Plus, you also needed him to slide for this to work.
Correct.
Right, and so maybe it was a timing thing. But I said, I expect this more out of like a 14-year-old. Now, how old is this kid?
He was early
21,
20s,
yeah, like
right around there.
And so that's just.
I don't think people should be coming after his dad. I don't.
Well,
me personally, what was his dad supposed to do?
His dad couldn't of thought the only way you'd go after his dad is if there's some sort of evidence that his son is a classic screw up and that he's pulled this crap before in other ways, not the same way, but in other screw ups, and he just couldn't be trusted. And somehow you protect that with your life. That information is as confidential as it gets. How he got the info is the follow-up. Did he get it? Did he have the dad's login? Was it just on a legal pad? Where was it?
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? Because I just think about some of the things I was doing as a teenager and in my early 20s, that my parents probably still don't know about. And we've all been there.
Plenty of time has passed. You could tell them now.
We've all been there. Some of the stuff I don't think they want to know. But we've all been there.
Is there anything you can tell?
Not on the air.
I think I can tell one.
What?
And this isn't anything bad. This is probably my.
Is this something I've done or something you've done?
No, I'm going to say something I've done. No,
wait a minute.
I'm not going to out you to your parents.
Wait a minute.
I'm not going to say, hey, yeah, Aunt Maddie told me the story of what he did. No, I can tell you a couple of, one of mine. It's not even that bad, really. But I'll tease it for next. And then speaking of draft calls, Will Howard did get the call he desperately wanted. And maybe his family now has a big problem. Tell you about that next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Guys, what's up? It's Matty Ice, and I'm here with Wendy's. And if you're looking for your next sandwich love, check out the Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich. This sandwich really has me feeling the heat, and it's packed with bold Cajun flavors that add that perfect little kick. Plus, it's topped with crispy onions that give it a satisfying crunch in every single bite. And did I mention this is all on top of Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich? So if you love that, you have to get your hands on this Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich before it's gone. For that little extra kick, it's got to be Wendy's. Open until midnight or later.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. April's a great time to spruce up around your house, like getting rid of those old, ugly, drafty, hard-to-open windows and starting fresh. Especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. There's no limit to how much you could save, and if you buy a house full of windows, they'll include a free entry door, too. Plus, with 0% financing, 0 down, and no monthly payments, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. How do they do it? Well, Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation to build windows to their high-quality specs. Then they pass the savings on to you. You'll protect your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Hurry, the sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the Buy 4, Get 4 free, and pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. One more time, that's Buy 4, Get 4 free from Window Nation, 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move, a pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Are you in need of basic dental treatment but can't afford the cost? There may be a solution. Hi, I'm Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, and I'm excited to tell you about a program called Dental Options. Dental Options is a partnership between the Ohio Dental Association and the Ohio Department of Health in which qualifying patients can be paired with a dentist to receive discounted or even free dental care. Eligibility for the program is based on your financial situation. For more information or to apply, call 1-888-765-6789.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A mostly quiet Wednesday after a stormy Tuesday as we head through the day. Temperatures make their way to the 70s this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. We could see a straight shower push through, but that would be about it. Unfortunately, though, more strong storms return as we head into Thursday. That's going to prompt another 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Day, so make sure you're staying weather aware. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Bet365 time.
Let's do it, big dog, because at Bet365, folks, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. They've got a great new sign-up offer over there right now at Bet365 where you bet $5, folks, and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets whether your bet wins or loses. So hop on over to the website or download the great Bet365 app today. Missed yesterday on my NBA bet. Norm Powell only knocked in 1 3-pointer, so I'm going tonight with the best three-point shooter of all time. I'm going with Steph Curry in a game, in a series where these two teams don't like each other. I'm enjoying the chippiness going on around the NBA right now, but Dylan Brooks, or Dylan the Villain as he calls himself, has been a thorn in the side of Draymond and Steph. Steph's going to be locked in tonight trying to end the Houston Rockets season. So give me 5 3-pointers made for old Steph, the babyface assassin, at plus 105 tonight down there in H-Town.
All right, I'm going to go back to the well. I'm going to do a cross-sport two-teamer.
Okay.
Taking the Lakers to not lose on their home court and get blown out of the series. And I'm going to add Winnipeg at home against St. Louis because they lose this game. They have to go back to St. Louis down 3-2. I know hockey is a tough bet, loser's bet, but I'm going to do that. Plus 118 on that one.
Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Again, make sure you're downloading that Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
By the way, North Carolina has just issued a statement.
You know who else issued a statement real quick is Mama Hayes.
Okay.
She texted me and said, I want to hear all of it. I said, Mom, listen, Mom, I love you. But some of this stuff your boys got to take to the grave. Okay? This is what's got to happen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever admitted to my stepdad that while he and my mother were out of town, that I took his motorcycle, picked up my best friend from high school, and drove around town.
Oh.
With no motorcycle license.
Just you and the homie on a motorcycle, just roaming the streets.
Probably saw a police car go by us.
Heart rate was up.
And
had to be at that point.
And it was okay to tell about it now.
Yeah, good.
I think the statute of limitations is up on that.
Okay.
He always said, because I always wanted one, he said, you can get a motorcycle when you're 30. Like, why? Why am I waiting that long? He goes, because when you're 30, you realize you probably don't want one. And I guess he was right. All right, so we'll spin the wheel here a couple times. We have Will Howard's draft call and how funny it is that he's going to the Steelers based on his family's allegiance.
Please pick me, please. Please pick me, Pittsburgh. Hello? Yes, sir.
You ready to be a Steeler?
Right, man. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Will, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Coach. How are you?
Hey, man. Congratulations, man, to you. You deserve it, man, to your family. You guys enjoy the day.
All Eagles fans, but now they're gonna be some damn Steelers fans in this world.
Sounds like they're on board, Maddie. I don't know how strong their allegiance is. They can
split jerseys coming to town.
They can root for both. One's NFC, one's AFC.
Yeah, listen.
Unless they're playing each other.
Sometimes, man, that stuff is rooted in some rich history when it comes to family allegiances with handing that down to the bloodline. This is just who we are. We're Eagles fans. So I won't be surprised if there's some split jerseys going on in the Howard household, but it may be one of those deals where it's like, yeah, we're going to root for Will and the Steelers until they play the Eagles, and that day it's Eagles over Steelers.
Unless he's playing.
I don't know.
I think that adds a whole new wrinkle. That's what I would ask. Like, okay, you're allowed to root for the Eagles. Yeah. Sure, that's your team. You grew up loving them. Root for the Eagles all day long. But if the Eagles are playing the Steelers and Will is not the starter, where's your heart?
I think even if he is the starter, some of the families are going to be members are rooting for the Eagles. Yeah. That's how serious some of this is.
It depends how close the family members are. I don't see... I think
it's one of those deals where it's like they would want Will to play well in the game, but they want the Eagles to win the game.
Grew up a diehard Viking fan. If I had a family member that was drafted to the Packers or the Bears, and they were playing a meaningful football game, and they had an impact
you
on
want that family member to play well, but your team win. That's how I would look at it.
Well, ideally, that would be...
So I'm saying, that's what you're rooting for.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want him to lose.
Oh, if I had a brother, I want you to take this L. I want you to ball, but you got to take this L, bro. That's just how it is.
Guys, this statement, why does Bill even put this out? It's not... He's a famous individual. He's done so many interviews. All right, so this one went a little sideways when your creative muse, as he calls her, deflected from the question. You don't need to
does
defend
he really
this.
Call her that?
Yeah.
You really?
In the book, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
So if you're going to call her that in the book, then clearly anything is up for grabs. It doesn't have to be on your foot. The book's about your football career, but if you mention her as your creative muse. Anyway, so here are the quotes from University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill head coach Bill Belichick. I agreed to speak with CBS Sunday Morning to promote my new book, The Art of Winning, Lessons from My Life in Football. Prior to the interview, I clearly communicated with my publicist at Simon & Schuster that any promotional interviews I participated in would agree to focus solely on the contents of the book. Well, if she's mentioned at all in the book, then I think it's fair game. Anyway, he goes on to say, unfortunately, that expectation, Maddie, was not honored during the interview. I was surprised when unrelated topics were introduced, and I repeatedly expressed to the reporter and the producers that I preferred to keep the conversation centered on the book. After this occurred several times, Jordan, with whom I share both a personal and professional relationship, stepped in to reiterate that point to help refocus the discussion. That was my take yesterday, that she didn't say it to protect how they met. She said it to say, now how she did it, that's
we're not talking about that.
She was not deflecting any specific question or topic, but simply doing her job to ensure the interview stayed on track. Some of the clips make it appear as though we were avoiding the question of how we met. But we have been open about the fact that Jordan and I met on a flight to Palm Beach in 2021. The final 8-minute segment does not reflect the productive 35-minute conversation we had, which covered a wide range of topics related to my career. Instead, it presents a selective edited clips and stills from just a few minutes of the interview to suggest a false narrative that Jordan was attempting to control the conversation, which is simply not true. So Billy's stepping up.
I mean, that's their side.
For his woman, for his publicist. And I'm telling you, if I just took this at face value, I do agree with him on his belief. Where I don't agree is a guy this seasoned would think that they're going to air the interview quote like almost in full. You're always taking sound bites out. Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
And that you couldn't expect that wouldn't have been in there.
So you got a couple different stories going on right now. You've got that side of the story, and you've got the CBS TMZ side of where they're reporting that she was disruptive throughout the whole thing and delayed the whole process. And so I don't know if we'll ever truly know what happened in that room. I can understand Bill maybe getting some questions that they weren't prepped for and that not being something that they're comfortable with, because you've interviewed people, AR, we've interviewed people, and sometimes you get people that say, hey, you know what? Oh, come on. But this thing right here, we don't want to talk about that. Then it's up to you as a host or whoever to say, okay, whether or not you're going to have that guest on. So there's that type of process, which I do respect. But Bill having to throw statements out like this, it's just something that I don't think he's going to want to continue to do, is this type of distraction. Because that's all this is right now, is a distraction for Bill Belichick, who's been a guy that seemed to be wired in, hey, this is all about the grind. This is all about us putting in work and, you know, that whole no days off type of stuff that he throws out there. So the fact that these things are swirling around him is eye-opening. And I just don't know how long he's going to want to continue to do this if these type of things do happen. But it just seems like she has been empowered, right, to have this type of voice, have this type of power around Bill Belichick in the North Carolina program. And we'll see how long it lasts.
I'll tell you the follow-up I have.
Yeah.
How long after you met her did you start dating her? Because he said they met on a flight in 2021. She was 20 years old. Okay. When did they start dating?
That's a fair question to ask.
And
it's now 2025.
You just can't expect this. He's done so much media in his life. You're selling a book. It just, she had to be there. He's just jumping through hoops now. And I understand him maybe giving us a little more insight into what he agreed upon and put it on CBS. But I'll tell you, you nailed it. Not every interview you do are the questions prepared or the people know what you're going to ask. And not all of them care. But one day back at the old station years ago, I think I hosting with you or Bobby?
It was Bobby.
Okay. And I had a chance to get Pete Rose on the program. And I said, okay, is everything fair game? And they said, no gambling talk. No gambling talk. And I'm like, it's not for us.
We good.
Yep. It's not for us.
I appreciate that.
Well, no, it's
and you better have called him Pete if he came on the air.
I wouldn't have called him Mr. Rose. But I feel like what happens in those things, and this is where Bill is right. If, let's say we did have him on and we didn't ask him about gambling, well, then your listeners are like, I can't believe they didn't ask him.
Yeah.
And so you look weak as a host, even though you may have agreed upon this prior and you didn't want to ambush the guest, which I'm a full fan of not doing. Tough questions need to be asked, and we try to do the best we can. But if you ever agree upon it and then you go away from it, and I've had that happen, and I've learned my lesson, and it will never happen again, where I had an influence from a boss and the pressure was on, and I did not live up to, I will admit that I waded into waters that I shouldn't have.
Can you tell the truth with that story in the final segment?
I don't think I just think admitting that I did it was probably enough. I think Maddie knows what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And, but I think so I understand what he's trying to do here. He's trying to give a more insight into that she wasn't just puppeting the interview and had a hand in my back telling me what to say, ventriloquist style.
That's a hard sell for some people, though, AR, prior to some of her actions, prior,
I understand.
to this whole deal. She's just been right in the mix, in the thick of everything North Carolina since this relationship and since his, debut, if you will, as the head coach happened. She's been all over the place.
We'll take a break. We'll come back in 2 minutes. Dad's gone wild, and you'll hear from Giannis. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, you're the Carfax guy.
The Carfox from Carfax.
Wow.
And you, sir, work at Tire Discounters.
I sure do.
The Carfax top-rated service center.
Oh, right. You know, a lot of that's because of our services. But people think we're just about tires.
Maybe it's your name.
Yeah.
Tire Discounters. And your jingle.
Oh, you like it?
I think it needs something.
Yeah? Like what?
Hit it. Plus brakes, oil changes, shocks, and struts, and more. Now that speaks to me.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1 The Fan.
Yes, you are. It's a wild little story. No fisticuffs. It didn't bleed into the stands, but this is the oldest debate. Fans, stay out of the arena. I don't care who you're related to, unless you're invited in, unless it's just casual and you're not. I'm not talking about court storming. That happens.
Yeah.
I don't love it for opposing teams and players. Getting out of there, let them get out. Then you want to go celebrate. That's a whole nother story. But Tyrese Halliburton's father, John, who now since has apologized, came out of the stands. He's sitting behind the basket. And when the game was over, came out and started waving his version of the terrible towel with his son's face on it, basically in Giannis's face.
Mm-hmm.
And to Giannis's take, swearing at him. This is
what the blank we do.
Yeah, like taunting
blah, blah,
him.
blah.
Just taunting him after the loss and the series being over. Were you familiar with anything in the past? Anything set this up at all? Or?
So these two teams have had a history over the last year and a half. I can't remember exactly what the record was, but I believe there was a record broken in a regular season game from Giannis and the Bucks last year, and Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers took the ball. And then there was like a whole brouhaha situation that happened down in the tunnel, back in the locker room area. So this playoff series, when we saw it on paper, you were kind of expecting that there was going to be some fireworks. We just weren't expecting the fireworks to be including a dad or a family member. If it was between the players on the floor, everybody would have understood that because these two teams don't like each other. And so what happened yesterday is the Bucks had an opportunity to close this game out. Gary Trent Jr. gets a pass coming his way. The pass goes through his hands, through his legs, into the stands, and that creates this possession for Indiana. So the Pacers get the ball to Tyrese Halliburton. He goes down, hits the game-winning bucket. Pacers win 119-118. And then what you mentioned happened, to where Tyrese Halliburton's dad, I believe his name is John, he came out with a towel and gets in Giannis's face. And let me just say this about Giannis before we hear from both parties. The restraint that he showed is so respectable to me. Because when your emotions are riding that high and you're Giannis and you're seeing the building go absolutely nuts, you're soaking in, hey, my season is over. And then you have this guy get in your face and literally you guys are going forehead to forehead, to Giannis to not do anything to him is, I think, crazy good stuff from Giannis on that part. So
I think there was enough space real fast between the two. I think if we would have gotten any closer.
They were forehead to forehead at one point.
But that was a different version. I'm sorry. That was a different area of this. I thought that part of the forehead to forehead at the end of that was that did he apologize at that point?
No.
Because when I watched it, there were two versions of this. One, the waving of the towel where they're standing about, 3-4 yards apart.
Oh, no. Then they get even closer.
And I saw that, but I wanted to get your interpretation. So you're saying that was, again, round number 2.
That happened shortly after that, is that Giannis is like, well, what the heck is this dude saying to me? And then so their forehead's the forehead at that point, and his dad's not backing down. Giannis is talking back to him, but he didn't put hands on him, and then security and some other players come in between them. It's just a wild scene. His dad should be absolutely embarrassed by this. There's no doubt he should be embarrassed by this. And if the Pacers want to come down and say, you're not allowed on the floor.
What about the league?
I would not be surprised. The league, whoever, right? Like you can't be down here on the floor, because now you're having people come out and saying that this dude's been a problem all year long and has talked trash to players, which I don't have an issue with. If you're down there talking trash, that's part of the game. Like, that's just what happens in basketball. But when you take it upon yourself to go out on the floor and approach a player and get in his face, there's got to be some punishment that comes down. And if they say, hey, your floor seats are done, you can sit up in the suite or wherever, that would not be mad at the league or the Pacers at all for doing that.
The league, real fast, they're going to play favorites here then, because they have a strict policy against fans entering the court. And the fan code of conduct, you're talking about as small as getting banned to as strong as jail. So if he's going to get the dad treatment, that will be interesting to me, because he shouldn't be allowed to attend any more games. Well, at least this season.
If that's the rule, then that's the rule.
Yeah. I don't know. And security probably didn't. I don't know. Maybe they thought he was part of I don't know what they thought he was.
Well, here's probably what happens is that his son is the star player of the team. He's there probably at all the home games.
Okay.
It's probably security recognizes him, and he's got a little bit of a longer leash. That's probably what happened. And so after the game, you had Giannis at the podium, and here's what he said about the situation.
I believe being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there's can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, you got talk shit. It's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won a championship. They haven't. I remember when I won, my mom, she's never missed the games from February. When we won a championship, I remember my mom, she was scared to cross. She was like, am I allowed to come and hug my son? Losing a game, emotions run high, having a fan, which at the moment I thought he was a fan, but then I realized he was Tyrese's son, which I love. Tyrese, I think, is a great competitor. He was his dad, sorry. Coming in the floor and showing me his son a towel with his face. This is what we do. This is what we effing do. This is the F we do. I feel like that's very, very disrespectful. Having somebody's dad, which I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his son, and I'm happy that he's happy for his son. That's how you're supposed to feel. But coming to me and disrespecting me and cursing at me, I think is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. I'm not the guy that points fingers, because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches. It's not respectful. I talked with him at the end, and I think we're in a good place.
Okay.
In my neighborhood, they are snitches get stitches, baby.
Because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches.
Okay. It's definitely a good part of it. His dad did apologize.
Yeah.
If he gets my son's in the NBA, I get one get out of jail free card.
Nobody should be surprised.
Nobody should be surprised. And it's time not to. It's time to learn it. It's time to understand.
Yeah.
He got caught up in the emotion.
That's exactly what happened.
He did, and makes him human. But I want to go back and look at the round 2 version, because if he was still yapping after he got his little taunting in with the towel, that should have been enough. Go celebrate with your son. I'd love to know what else. But yes, the forehead to forehead with a guy 6'11" or 7 feet tall, whatever he is.
Giannis could have snapped that dude in half right there. If he
thank
wanted to.
goodness he didn't.
Right.
Because
Like
he's
a pool
got
stick.
a lot more to lose than the Faja.
100%. 100%. Fellas, if you've been waiting to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had a bad experience with the clinic that's just not on it, the place you need to be that is on it is the Columbus Men's Clinic. It's time to get in there and move forward with your sex life, your career, and your gym goals. They specialize in seeing guys who think they're out of luck regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. Go see the team, guys, that for 10 years has been number one in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get on in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400. Or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today, fellas. Again, it's columbusmensclinic.com.
Come back with Tell the Truth and the current best-selling jersey in this draft class. The latest numbers. Next, Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Hey guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. The treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. And you'll get the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Many drugs, like cocaine, methamphetamine, and non-prescription pills, are often cut with dangerous opioids like fentanyl. As a result, nearly 14 Ohioans die daily from unintentional overdoses. That's why it's important to carry naloxone, such as Narcan, a life-saving medication that blocks the effects of fentanyl and other opioids. Over the last 5 years, naloxone has saved over 83,000 lives. Help save lives and visit naloxone.ohio.gov to learn more and find free naloxone. Remember, if you see an overdose occurring, always call 911.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay minus 108 than minus 110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sportsbook. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yo, this is Flavor Flav, and I am coming at you with one of my flavor faves, Raisin Cane's. So when you're looking for flavor fast, order in a flash, online or on their app. Raisin Cane's. One love.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life. Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people, just like me, discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. Sundays at 11, it's The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. You're welcome.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. For all your window needs, visit windownation.com.
All right, tell the truth. Does this surprise you guys? That Shedeur Sanders, pick number 144, is now the best-selling jersey of the draft class.
No, and this is why he's going to be a Cleveland Brown. I think he's going to be on the roster no matter what. Because at the end of the day, I do think he has a safe floor at quarterback, but those type of things, moving the needle, moving dollars around and being relevant as a franchise, that's what you want as an owner.
Well, Jimmy loves this, yeah.
No doubt.
So, and the other interesting thing is that Fanatics is selling 9 different items, 9 items for him, which is more than any other draft pick outside of Cam Ward. There are 9 different options.
Kids are going to love Shedeur Sanders.
They like that dollar sign.
They
want
to throw up those watches, man. You know, throw up that watch. You want to be legendary.
They want to be legendary.
Did you see the video of him yesterday? He found like a park, and he was doing lunges up the hill in Cleveland. He's already putting in the work. No, lunging up the hill.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I need to try that out.
Lunges are brutal. All right. So nobody knows how much was made, but all 3 items, the short and long sleeve tee and the hoodie that were on his 2 legendary site, they've listed as sold out. Now, whether or not that's for, sold out, you missed, that adds a little more intrigue to it, I don't know. But number 1 jersey amongst the 2025 draft picks across their network of sites, which includes the NFL shop and the Cleveland Browns official shop.
No surprise at all. No surprise at all.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll see if he stays up top. There's number 1. Number 2 is number 1. All you, buddy.
And it's me. All right. Piggybacking off of a recent discussion that you guys touched on for a brief moment in time, I have a cousin who is an assistant coach in the NFL. Should I root for my cousin's team when he coaches against the Steelers?
Cousin who's an assistant coach
in the NFL.
What
team? Can we know what team?
Cardinals.
Okay.
This year.
He doesn't really directly, well, he's impacting the game. And he did say cousin, which makes it not an immediate family member.
This isn't 2 truths and a lie. I'm giving you the truth.
No, I know. I'm trying to play out in my own mind what is the proper answer here. I would say no. We draw a line. I think immediate family. The cousin that's an assistant coach.
Listen, anybody,
it's a little too separated. I think you're allowed to root for the Steelers.
Anybody in the bloodline can get it. Could be my mom, my dad, anybody.
Just take the L.
If we're competing, I'm trying to bury you. I'll love you just as much after.
Yeah, but it might affect their longevity in their sport.
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. If there's a score to be had, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win.
You play to win the game. Absolutely. Hey, so what is your answer?
My answer is no.
You're rooting for the Steelers.
I'm rooting for the Steelers because I'm not switching teams every 2 years. I'm not switching my favorite teams every 2 years. I'm a Notre Dame fan who went to Ohio State. I'm a stick with my guns type of guy.
Yeah, but it would be just that one game. They're not asking you to abandon the Steelers.
They're my second favorite team. Okay. Wherever he's coached is my second favorite team every single year.
Okay, I respect that.
But Steelers are priority number 1. Yeah. Now, I will say, too, and I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be elitist or anything like that, but if he were a defensive coordinator or a head coach, that would be different because then it would, whatever the final score was, would really reflect on him.
That's what I said to Maddie, it could lead to success. But with an assistant, it may not.
Yeah, where you can't, the final score, you don't necessarily look at one of the position coaches and go, oh, that was your fault.
No, but it might be actually worse in that they don't really have real control over their future. If the head coach does well, they stay employed. Head coach gets fired, they're thrown out with the bathwater.
That part's true. So in terms of just life stability.
You guys are nicer than I am. That's what this is coming down to.
No, he's still rooting for the Steelers, he said. So that's all
how it should be.
Fine.
Second favorite team. All right, tell the truth. Do you care about the 100 men versus one gorilla debate?
I've gotten caught up in it. So I'd be lying if I said I don't care, just because there's been so many creative memes and videos out there, and I've caught myself laughing at this stuff. So, yeah, I'm into it. The gorillas wiping out 100 men, like, that's just the side that I'm on, unless you tell me I get like 100 prime Brock Lesnar's. Then maybe you're on to something, but I still think they catch an L. But, yeah, I'm kind of into it. It's crazy how one tweet that just taken over sports and entertainment for the last 48 hours, because it's been on talk shows everywhere. So I'm into it.
Yeah, somehow this has escaped me a little bit. I wasn't online when it happened, and I'm kind of getting the tail end of it. I'm the wrong guy to ask because it doesn't matter. I'm rooting for the gorilla anyway. And so I don't even like the premise of it all. But, yeah, I feel like I'm in the haven't seen enough, so I don't care enough camp.
Someone even told me once they thought I'd be a good talk show host.
Caster Connection fan poll today, not bowl. We got which AFC North team has the best chance of hitting the over on their win total? We got the Ravens at 11.5, Bengals 9.5, Steelers 8.5, Browns 4.5.
Man, asking this before May 14th is tough. Looking at the schedule,
31 flavors. This has got to be tough. I want to lean into probably Cincy.
Okay,
to go 10-7.
Al Golden getting that defense together.
I think there's part of me that would say the Browns could win 5, but it's a little scary for me.
The quarterback, we don't know what we're getting.
What were your other ones?
Right.
What were your other ones?
Steelers 8.5.
Give me that over. Give me it, because you know what? Aaron's coming to town, and I think that number will change when he does.
You don't think it's baked in?
Oh, so you're going value?
No, I don't. I think it. When
what could it go to?
Dude, it's gonna plummet.
You think it'll go down when he signs?
No, I'm saying if he doesn't sign.
Right.
You think so? You do think the 8.5 is baked in? He doesn't, though.
I'm not saying it's 100%. I'm saying they are factoring that in. So maybe it goes up to 9.5. But I think if he doesn't sign, that.
I agree.
6.5.
And I agree with you on both ends right there, that it will go down if he doesn't sign. I think it'll go to 9.5 if he does.
I think they must know he's signing.
You think that they do right now? Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do today? I got up and came to work. There's a show. That's a show.
Should the NFL stop calling their draft picks in advance altogether?
So I like it for the show. I would rather have these guys watching live and being surprised like we are. That would be very cool. And then getting the call afterward. Here's my theory on why they can't. The teams won't allow it. The teams want to talk to that guy and get his ready to go.
Yeah, they do.
Here we go. They want it before they pick him. They want to just make sure. They want to hear his voice. We're turning in the card. You ready to go?
So you're saying, like, if a guy's like, I don't know, you're like, oh, we're not drafting.
Or if he doesn't answer.
That's good. I like that.
Like
Quinshawn almost
the
did.
sleeper pick that I had for the Jackson Dart friend fell asleep on the couch.
Did you see Quinshawn, by the way? His mom answered. He was like getting some lemonade or something. Hey, real quick before we go.
Refreshing drink.
If you ever miss anything from our show, don't worry. You can always catch up via the podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Just type in Rothman and Ice, everything we do from noon to 3. We'll be waiting there for you. Bet365 is the exclusive sports betting sponsor of the Rothman and Ice podcast.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Gold Jacket Thursday tomorrow. Tune in that at high noon. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic or our new Cheddar Blast flavor made with real cheddar cheese. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Military veterans and active duty service members. You could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Did you ask about Pick 3 from the Ohio Lottery? Okay, Pick 3 is a daily draw game where you pick 3 individual numbers between 0 and 9 that can be played straight, where numbers must be drawn in an exact order or boxed where they can be drawn in any order. You can win hundreds, and wagers start at only 50 cents. Want to learn more? Okay, go to OhioLottery.com or the Ohio Lottery app. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
We've all been there. You come home after a long day only to find water dripping from the ceiling. Your roof has decided it's had enough. And now frustration sets in. Another unexpected problem added to your never-ending to-do list. At Newman Roofing, we get it. That's why we make the process simple and stress-free, handling every detail with professionalism, so you don't have to worry and can get back to the things that matter most to you. So, how do you begin? Step 1. Schedule your free estimate by calling our office at 614-NEW-ROOF or visiting our website, newmanroofing.com. Step 2. Meet with one of our trusted representatives who will guide you through the best plan for your home. Step 3. We get to work, and you watch your roof transform before your very eyes. Whether it's your roof, gutters, or siding, the Newman Roofing team is here to guide and support you every step of the way. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF to schedule your free estimate and experience the Newman Roofing difference. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
April 30th, 1969, Reds pitcher Jim Maloney took the mound at Crosley Field against Houston and threw a no-hitter. The third time the big right-hander had pitched no-hit baseball. He walked 5 batters but struck out 13 and even contributed to the offense with a double and an RBI. A very memorable night, made even more so by what happened the very next night at Crosley when Astros pitcher Don Wilson turned the tables on the Reds and pitched a no-hitter himself. Back-to-back no-hitters at Crosley Field. And it started with Maloney's Gym this April 30th, 1969, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Concerned about your investment's rate of return? Let us show you exactly how your portfolio is performing. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a comprehensive